Today at City High School, it is the gene injection ceremony for all of the students. Everyone is injected with a serum that has the primal genes of all the magic beasts to ever roam the earth. Each student will then gain one random gene and awaken a magic beast. The professor tells these bozos to not freak out because it will hurt when the serum flows throughout their body. As the serum takes effect, students literally go crazy and shake as a side effect. But when Yi-Hee receives the serum, nothing happens, not a single freaky movement. The professor thinks it's some sort of malfunction. A chopped shoddy girl nearby spawns out of nowhere laughing at our boy. However, in the blink of an eye, he gets a strange feeling. He has received an infinite monster template that lets him acquire every beast's abilities and traits. All of the energy bursts, and that chopped girl is launched away to oblivion. All the plebs and goons watching are speechless at what happened before them. In the silence, the intercom addresses the students, instructing them to meet at the testing building. For this segment, they are to analyze their magical beast genes as well as the martial arts. These machines will reveal the true power of the students. One by one, everyone walks up and gets their results. Shiniwan got a stage 3 bloodline, swift spine bug. Not bad. I give super speed and some strength, which puts him at the top of the class. Shu steps forward and awakens the rare ice demon dragon, a bloodline at the top of the pyramid. Even the professors glazes him, saying he surely will be the strongest in the classroom. Miss Lu steps up, and she awakens a mystic nether sparrow bloodline that can destroy entire cities when leveled up. As this goes on, our boy just wonders why his beast is ranked with a letter, and the rest of the class has either 3 or 4 stage type. Finally, it is our Sigma boys' turn, and while everyone anticipates something awesome, they are in for a surprise. When the results show up, his beast shows up as unknown. All these goons begin to laugh their big butts off like it's some sort of comedy show. Our MC walks away from the mockery in nonchalant fashion. He's not a failure. These plebs just don't know what they don't know. The system drops a manual for the infinite monster template. Basically do quests and gain clout to unlock more monsters. It's like a battle pass, but without spending money. Our boy looks like he's having a total villain moment. When your eyes glow blue and you start grinning like a maniac, you know the leveling up is working. Another day at school, but for our Sigma protagonist, the ordinary life is officially over. The teacher is busy with his tea until our boy drops a bombshell. He wants a break to study at home. He's not asking, he's declaring it. Our max level Rizzler MC is determined to improve, but not in a classroom. The teacher looks skeptical. He's seen plenty of dreamers, but something about our boy feels different. Those eyes aren't human anymore. The system is humming, and the world is starting to look like a playground. Destination, the Anchang Martial Center. This is where the real power resides. Walking into the belly of the beast, our boy is a complete unknown among the city's elites. Compatibility, a measly 3%. To anyone else, it's a failure. To our boy, it's just the floor. Genetic medicine, the forbidden fuel. He's ready to burn through whatever it takes to evolve. Power and money. Our boy can already taste the success that's waiting at the top. The sudden surge of pressure is intense. His body is screaming to adapt. Suddenly, the center looks like a battlefield. He sees the monstrous auras of martial artists swirling around him. The shadow of Demora, the king of monsters, looms behind him, sensing every life signal in the room. He can't help but grin. This isn't fear, it's the thrill of becoming something primal. Hey kid. A sudden hand on his shoulder snaps him back to reality. Meet Huang Hei Li. She's cute, confident, and definitely not chopped way above his pay grade. She's lost and looking for genetic medicine, of all things. Our boy can't believe his luck. Trying to stay cool, our Sigma protagonist realizes this lost girl is radiating some serious power. She holds up 4 fingers. She's a 4th rank martial artist, a level of power he's only read about. Our Rizzler MC is speechless. The gap between them is like a mountain. The fine shoddy drops her card, Huang Hei Li, a 4th rank pro who just took an interest in the schoolboy. Reality check. Huge hospital bills on one side, overpriced weapons on the other. Being a warrior is expensive. Time to level up. He pushes his body to the limit, watching his stats and compatibilities skyrocket. The transformation is intoxicating. Our boy is no longer just a student. He's an apex predator in the making. E rank or S rank, the world's hierarchy is about to be torn apart as he heads toward his first true bloodbath. Our boy reaches the Anchang number 3 E-level secret realm, looking every bit the protagonist ready for a serious grind. Signing a death waiver? Just standard procedure when you're about to walk into hell on purpose? There it is, the secret realm rift, a swirling vortex of power that separates the prey from the predators. Our boy's grinning like a madman. The monster gene is already starting to itch for some action. He wastes no time, dashing into the rift with the speed of a predator that's finally found its home. Welcome to Taijin Star. Seeing these massive celestial bodies in person beats any textbook lesson. Night falls, and our boy finds himself being watched by a set of hungry eyes in the shadows. A fanged beast emerges, thinking it's found an easy meal. This thing clearly doesn't know who it's dealing with. The monster lunges with incredible speed, but our boy's reflexes are already on a whole other level. Too slow. Yihi catches the beast midair, showing it exactly what a real monster looks like. In a single brutal motion, the high-level threat is pulverized into nothingness. Loot secured. A glowing crystal that pulses with the kind of energy his system craves. Our boy flips the crystal like a common coin. That was just the appetizer. The ground shakes as a massive sandworm erupts from the dirt, looking for its next meal. Sword out, grin wide. Our boy is more than ready to turn this giant worm into his next upgrade. Deep within the dungeon, a massive, ancient energy source begins to pulse. Something big is about to happen. Our boy is already in the thick of it, facing down a colossal earth dragon with zero fear. One swing is all he needs. His eyes light up as the monster's venom splashes around him. He's just getting warmed up for the real show. He doesn't just fight, he dominates, unleashing a shockwave that tears the ground apart and leaves his enemies reeling. Charging up his inner power, our boy prepares to let loose a blast that would make even the strongest monsters jealous. Hyper Beam. The serpent is erased in a blinding pillar of pure energy. Talk about overkill. Slicing through the remains, our boy moves with the lethal grace of a predator who's already won the fight. The beast tries a desperate strike, but Yihi is already 10 steps ahead, effortlessly dodging the counter. With his monster template fully unleashed, he's basically a walking disaster zone for anything in his path. The dragon tries one last bite, but it's far too late to stop the king of monsters. One final claw strike, and the threat is neutralized. Our boy stands tall amidst the wreckage. The dust settles, and our boy catches his breath as the system confirms another successful hunt. But even a king gets hungry after a workout, and our boy is absolutely starving after that battle. Jackpot. He finds a high-grade monster crystal, the ultimate prize hidden within this dungeon. Most people would sell it, but our boy just gulps it down like a snack. Absolute savage behavior. System compatibility rises. The Mad Demola template is evolving, pushing his power to a whole new level. Look at that grin. He's not just getting stronger. He's enjoying every single second of the grind. He activates his life field, feeling the pulse of the entire dungeon bend to his will. With the dungeon cleared, our boy walks out like he owns the place, leaving a trail of destruction behind. At the exchange center, the staff is completely stunned by the massive pile of crystals he brought back. But Yihi doesn't care for the fame. He's already focused on his next target. Power is all that matters. A new portal opens, leading to a secret realm where the legendary Blood Jade Flower is hidden. He meets up with Lin, his mercenary team, who are desperate for a powerhouse to lead the way. Lin He tells the crew not to worry. He's already called in a new pro to bolster their ranks for the secret realm. But as the pro steps forward, we get this. A guy picking his nose and looking like he just rolled out of bed. Is this seriously their secret weapon? Lin He is trying to hype up his new recruit, but the rest of the team looks like they want a refund. Just look at our boy. He looks like he's already bored of this mission before it even starts. Lin He seals the deal with a handshake. He knows there's more to this kid than meets the eye, even if the eye is currently half asleep in that baggy hoodie. Time to go! The team's jeep dives headfirst into a glowing blue portal, warping them into a world where the rules of physics are just a suggestion. Welcome to the desert. Their target, the Blood Jade Flower, is buried in an oasis ahead, but it's guarded by a tier 2 monster with a general level bloodline. Simple mission, right? The scenery is shifting faster than they can track. Our Sigma protagonist is just vibing in the back, while the rest of the squad realizes that secret realms are way more complex than they thought. Surprise! Multi-headed sandwolves come screaming out of the dunes, and they look like they haven't had a decent meal in a decade. The mercs aren't playing around. One of them leaps from the moving car with blades ready, showing these mutts exactly why you don't mess with professionals. Knives everywhere! The multi-headed beast gets turned into a pincushion before it can even get a single bite out of the squad. Speeding through the wasteland! These guys are desert racers with a death wish, leaving a trail of dust and dead monsters in their wake. The tension is thick enough to cut. While his teammate is practically vibrating with combat stress, our boy is just sitting back like he's waiting for his lunch to be delivered. The ride is over and the real hunt begins. Lin He takes the lead on foot, eyes peeled for the legendary guardian of the oasis. Tactical orders are flying. Lin He puts Xiao Xiao on grenades, Xiao Wu and Hood on traps, and Old Lu on suppressive fire. It's a literal masterclass in monster hunting. And our boy? He's literally whistling at the clouds while Lin He points a finger and loses his mind. This kid is either a genius or the ultimate troll. Then, the ground shakes as the Tier 2 Guardian finally shows up. A massive, multi-headed dragon roars into the sky. Now the real party starts. But they aren't alone out here. A silhouette stands in the swirling sand, surrounded by the swords of fallen warriors. A predator is watching from the shadows. Meet the Huo assassin ***. Bald, scarred, and rocking a purple eye that says he's seen way too much death. He licks his blade like it's a popsicle. Looks like the squad just ran into a real problem. Yi dives straight into the fray, his power surging as he takes on a tier 2 earth dragon without breaking a sweat. One clean strike and the beast is decapitated. The experienced fighters of Lin He's team can only watch in absolute disbelief. But in a dungeon, a dead monster is usually just an invitation for something far worse to crawl out of the shadows. Yi doesn't wait for an invitation, he moves with a speed that defies logic, already targeting the next threat. He unleashes a massive energy blast, obliterating everything in its path. This isn't just martial arts, it's pure, raw destruction. While everyone else is losing their minds over his strength, our boy just shrugs it off. To him, this is just a warm-up. The prize of the day? A blood jade fruit. This little item is exactly what Yi needs to push his monster template even further. His teammates look at the treasure with greedy eyes, not realizing they're standing next to a literal king of monsters. Lin He, the veteran leader, smiles with relief, thinking the danger has passed. He couldn't be more wrong. Betrayal! In a flash, a teammate stabs Lin He from behind. The greed for the blood jade fruit has finally turned them into monsters. Enter Huopeng, a notorious dungeon raider with a tier 3 bloodline. This guy is huge, arrogant, and looking for a payday. The situation turns grim as Lin He collapses. Huopeng's men surround the group, thinking they've already won. A specialized assassin steps forward, raining down deadly darts to finish off the remaining survivors. Yi's eyes glow with an eerie blue light. He doesn't just see the attack, he feels every vibration in the air. He catches a blade barehanded and crushes it like paper. The look of pure terror on the assassin's face? Absolutely priceless. Desperate, the attacker unleashes a storm of daggers, hoping sheer numbers will take the boy down. Yi dances through the blades with a savage grin. It's not a fight anymore, it's a slaughter in slow motion. The assassin tries a high-level martial technique, the mountain splitter kick, coming down with enough force to crack stone. Too slow. Our boy counters with a palm strike that sends the man flying, his technique shattered by overwhelming power. Yi whistles as his opponent hits the dirt. One down, a whole crew of idiots to go. Something ancient and terrifying looms behind Yi. The Monster King is waking up, and its aura is suffocating the entire cave. Seeing his man go down, Huopeng goes all out, activating his Tyrant Terror Black Bear bloodline. He's becoming a literal beast. The massive bear man charges, turning the ground into a crater with every step. He thinks his tier 3 status makes him invincible. Huopeng slams his fists down with bone-shaking force, but he's swinging at nothing but air. Our boy is already gone, vanishing like a ghost into the clouds of dust. High above, Yi looks down with cold, glowing eyes, watching his prey tremble. The hierarchy of power has shifted, and the final strike is only a heartbeat away. Yi isn't playing around anymore. He charges his fist with core energy, core fused, mountain crushing. This isn't just a punch, it's a death sentence for anyone standing in his way. Huopeng is cooked. The once arrogant raider is now just a heap of broken pride on the ground. Yi stands over him, cold and untouchable. Lin He's team can barely process what they just witnessed. A tier 3 beast blood warrior, taken down by a kid who was supposed to be a nobody. Look at that face. Huopeng's career as a dungeon raider? Yeah, that just ended permanently. Brutal. As the dust settles, our boy's eyes burn with a strange, haunting blue light. His evolution is accelerating, and the world isn't ready for what's coming next. Cut to Inthan City. The martial arts convention is in full swing, and the atmosphere is electric. The announcer is screaming into his mic, hyping up the crowd for the next big star. He's practically vibrating with excitement. This is the stage where legends are born, or where trash gets thrown out. Across the stadium, arenas are exploding with action. Fighters are clashing, techniques are flying, and the stakes couldn't be higher for these students. Even the veteran announcer is checking his stats twice. Something is definitely weird about the leaderboard today. Enter the elite. Chai Shaoling, the Tiger King tier 3, steps up with a massive dragon aura behind her. She's gorgeous, she's deadly, and she's here to dominate. The spectators are gossiping like crazy. They're all waiting for the high-tier geniuses to sweep the floor with the rest of the competition. The referee blows the whistle. The next round is about to start, but one name is still missing from the registration desk. Suddenly, the judges feel it. A heavy, suffocating pressure is washing over the arena. Something monstrous is approaching. Yi has arrived! He's running late, energy flaring around him like a blue firestorm. He doesn't just walk in, he invades the space. Liu Qingju is instantly on alert. As a tier 4 Nether Phoenix user, her senses are sharper than anyone's, and she knows this boy is hiding something dangerous. She watches him intently, her eyes narrowing. She came here to find rivals, but Yi might be more than she can handle. The match starts, and our boy doesn't even use a stance. He just launches a single devastating high kick that sends his opponent into orbit. Look at that bored expression. He's like, is that it? I missed my breakfast for this? Total disrespect. And I love it. His stats are popping off. A fitness level of 226 and 20% compatibility with the Savage Trace Demora template. He's basically a cheat code at this point. The bracket is updating fast. One by one, the students in his path are getting X-ed out. Yi is moving through this tournament like a hot knife through butter. Another match, another one-shot. He doesn't punch, He doesn't grapple, he just kicks them into the next dimension. Simple, effective, brutal. The crowd is going feral. They've officially nicknamed him the One-Kick Superman. The hype train is leaving the station, and everyone wants a seat. Suddenly, he's the most popular guy in school. Fans are swarming him with phones, but Yahi's head is already in the next fight. That blush? Probably just the heat. Probably. But don't let the fans fool you. Behind those cold blue eyes, he's already looking past them. He's not here for the applause he's hunting, for a fight that actually makes him feel alive. A quick thumbs up for the cameras, but the real show is just beginning. As he heads back into the crowd, Yihi is about to show everyone that being a genius means nothing when you're facing a literal monster. Yihi casually strolls through the crowd, his presence already turning heads, even when he's just walking. Little do they know, this kid just walked out of a dungeon and is about to flip the entire tournament on its head. Look at that grin. That's the face of a guy who knows something you don't, like the fact that he's essentially a god walking among mortals. The tournament officials aren't blind. They've noticed his meteoric rise and they want answers. Our boy just stands there, cool as a cucumber, ready to feed them whatever lie sounds the most plausible. When they check his stats, the numbers don't lie. He's jumped levels in a way that should be physically impossible. The bald official is sweating bullets, trying to make sense of a power level that keeps breaking the scale. Yihi's explanation? Oh, I just broke through my genetic lock. It's the ultimate martial arts excuse, but he says it with such confidence they have no choice but to believe it. The officials are losing their absolute minds. Breaking a genetic lock at his age is unheard of, and suddenly, the trash of the school is the hottest prospect in the city. They rush off to report the news, practically tripping over their own feet. Yihi has officially become a problem for anyone standing between him and the top spot. While the world burns with hype, his supporters are flooding social media with messages of encouragement. Everyone loves an underdog story, especially when that underdog is currently trampling the competition. But Yihi? He's just chillin', checking his phone like he didn't just cause a minor heart attack for the local administration. He's the main character, and he knows it. Back home, the old-timers are glued to their screens, their jaws on the floor. Watching our boy fight is like watching a glitch in the Matrix. It's just not fair. Back in the arena, Yihi stands alone, the center of the universe for thousands of screaming fans. His next opponent is just a speed bump on the road to glory. This guy actually thinks he has a chance. He's standing there with his arms crossed, all high and mighty, completely unaware that he's about to become a highlight reel for the wrong reasons. Bloodline awakening. The opponent goes full power, glowing with a blue aura that looks impressive but feels like a mosquito bite to our boy Yihi. Yihi doesn't even move an inch. He catches the ultimate attack with zero effort, making the entire concept of high-tier bloodlines look like a joke. Boom! With a single energy strike, Yihi shatters the arena and his opponent's dignity in one go. The sheer shockwave is enough to let everyone know who's really in charge here. Are there no decent examinees at all? Yihi asks, with a wild, hungry grin. He's not being arrogant, he's actually disappointed. Where's the challenge? The crowd is going feral. They aren't just cheering for a winner, they're cheering for a monster. Yihi has officially stolen the show. Meanwhile, in another arena, the actual geniuses are putting on their own performance. The atmosphere here is different. This is where the top-tier talent usually resides. Meet Chai Xiaoling, the queen of Anchung's second senior high. She's flashy, she's confident, and she's got the skills to back up that attitude. And facing her is Liu Qingju, the unattainable flower. She's the definition of grace and power, a tier 4 monster who makes everyone else look like they're playing with toys. Chai Xiaoling strikes first, moving with blinding speed. It's a battle of the elites, and neither side is willing to back down an inch. But Liu Qingju isn't just fast, she's refined. She activates her secret art, Sutra of Transient Splendor, turning the entire arena into her personal playground. She follows up with a primordial finger strike, a move so precise and powerful, it cuts through Chai Xiaoling's defenses like they weren't even there. This is tier 4 power, and it's terrifying. Kai Xiaoling isn't finished yet, summoning her massive Tiger King spirit in a roar that literally vibrates through the stadium. This is the pinnacle of tier 3 desperation, a queen fighting to keep her crown at any cost. Liu Qingju just stands there, her cold purple eyes glowing with a calm intensity that only makes her opponent more frantic. The tension is at a boiling point, and Chai Xiaoling is about to snap. Chai Xiaoling goes absolutely ballistic. She's channeling every ounce of her Tiger King bloodline, screaming that nobody is going to take her crown today. She unleashes a massive energy blast that lights up the whole arena, but when the smoke clears, the result is already written in stone. The queen is spent. She stands there, battered and broken, realizing that there's a wall in front of her that she just can't climb. Liu Qingzu just glides past her, untouchable. Tier 4 power isn't just about strength. It's about being fundamentally superior in every single way. She doesn't even look back. To her, this wasn't a rivalry. It was just a demonstration of the inevitable. Talk about cold-blooded. All right, time for the main event. The top 8 draw ceremony is live, and this is where the real monsters are going to be paired up. Yihi steps up, calm as ever. He's not just drawing a name, he's drawing a target for his next one-shot. Any guesses on who the lucky winner is? Meet Shen Guan. He's massive, he's from Qingfeng Private High, and he's practically vibrating with muscle. He looks at bro like he's a light snack before the real meal. He's all smiles and laughter, playing the big brother role. But in this world, that just means he's overconfident and ready to be humiliated. Across the stadium, the blue energy is flaring up again. The high tiers are already warming up, making the air itself feel heavy with killing intent. Shengguan's got that look in his eyes, the kind you get when you've been at the top your whole life. He thinks he can read Yihi like an open book. Poor guy. The tension is erupting like a volcano. Shengguan claims his senses have been sharp since childhood, but he clearly didn't sense the buzzsaw he's about to walk into. The face-off! The size difference is hilarious, but as we know in Manhwa, the smaller guy is usually the one you should be terrified of. Let's see how this plays out. Shengguan strikes first, and it's not just a punch, it's a precision strike meant to destroy Yihi cells directly. This guy isn't just a brute, he's a specialist. He thinks he's found a weakness, targeting the very building blocks of Yihi's body. He's smug, he's calculated, and he's completely wrong. Bro's eyes glow with that haunting blue light again. He's taking the hits, but he's analyzing every move, every muscle twitch. He's just downloading the data. Shengguan shifts into his shape will fist, his movements becoming fluid and beast-like. He's channeling the Golden Star Ape Demon, and the pressure is insane. Yellow energy explodes from his fists. He's going for the kill, pushing Yihi back with a barrage of strikes that look like they could level a building. Yihi looks legit worried for a second. Is he actually struggling? Or is he just letting the geniuses have his moment before he ends his career? A massive blow connects. The impact sends a shockwave through the entire arena, and for the first time, Bro is actually feeling the heat. Yihi coughs up blood! The crowd goes silent. Is the one-kick Superman about to go down? Shengguan is relentless, not giving him a single second to breathe. He hits the ground hard, dust swirling around him. The audience is in shock, but wait, why is he smiling? That's not the look of a loser, that's the look of a predator. You can't run! Shengguan roars, his beast spirit looming over him like a god of war. He thinks he's won, but he just triggered the final boss's phase 2. Shengguan has Yihi in a death grip, ready to snap him like a dry twig as the crowd watches in absolute horror. The tension is through the roof. Everyone thinks they're about to see the one-kick Superman finally break. But then, the King of Monsters awakens. A terrifying aura erupts from Yihi, sending a shockwave through the arena that tells Shengguan one thing: he's no longer the predator. Shengguan shifts into his eagle form, his energy soaring as he tries to shred Bro from above with tier 3 precision. But Yihi isn't some sitting duck. He braces himself, catching the shockwaves with a calm that borders on insanity. A massive pillar of fire and energy erupts, shaking the entire stadium to its core. This isn't a student match anymore, it's a war zone. Shengguan stands amidst the rubble, looking like a literal god of war. He thinks he's finally pinned down the one-kick Superman. Poor guy. Suddenly, the atmosphere changes. A massive, suffocating shadow rises behind Yihi, darker than any beast spirit Shengguan has ever seen. The King of Monsters has arrived. Yihi activates his magical beast embodiment, transforming into a terrifying armored predator crackling with blue electricity. Look at those eyes. That's not a human gaze anymore, that's the cold, calculated stare of a literal apex predator. Shengguan is sweating bullets. For the first time in his life, his sharp senses are screaming one thing: run. Yihi's transformed state looms over the arena, his aura so heavy, it practically grounds the tier 3 genius. The power difference is just unfair at this point. Up in the observation room, the examiners are losing their absolute minds. Their headphones are static, and the scanners are reporting something impossible. Nuclear radiation value: 9,999,999. The equipment literally can't handle Bro's existence. He's not a student, he's a walking catastrophe. Shengguan is bleeding, his body failing under the sheer weight of Yihi's presence. He tries one last desperate technique, but it's like trying to stop a tsunami with a toothpick. Yihi counters with a snake strike from his own version of Form Will Fist. It's faster, deadlier, and carries the weight of a god. Shengguan's arm is shredded, blood spraying across the arena. The geniuses of Qingfeng High is being dismantled in front of thousands. As our boy approaches Shengguan, we all know this boy is getting cooked like rice. Shengguan looks into the eyes of a monster and realizes he's not fighting a student, he's looking at his own death. Yihi doesn't just attack. He lunges like a prehistoric predator, moving with a speed that defies human biology. One strike. The air shatters as Yihi's raw power collides with everything in its path, leaving only destruction behind. Look at that form. Total dominance, total pressure. Standing there like a king who has already won the war. The buildup of atomic energy is so intense it screams. Yihi is about to unleash a blast that shouldn't exist in this arena. Shengguan stands his ground, but the sheer weight of Yihi's aura is enough to crush a normal warrior's spirit. Submission is the only survival. The so-called genius falls to his knees, surrendering before the blow even lands. A roar that shakes the stadium. Yihi isn't just winning, he's claiming this entire tournament as his territory. Holding back that much power is uncomfortable. So Yihi just burps. An atomic burp that vaporizes the atmosphere. Back to human, but the heat radiating off him is still high enough to melt steel. The transformation may be over, but the legend has just begun. The crowd is losing their minds. They came for a tournament, but they just witnessed the awakening of a god. Social media is on fire. Clips of Yihi's fight are going viral, turning a nobody into a global phenomenon overnight. While one side celebrates, others are fuming. Shenguan's principal is furious that their prizefighter gave up so easily. Shenguan knows the truth though. You can't fight a disaster. You can only hope to survive it. The top seeds are set. Yihi is standing alongside the city's elite, but to him, they're just more prey. Yihi's principal is practically floating. He just found a lottery ticket worth $1 billion in his own classroom. Time for the semifinals draw. Yihi doesn't care who he faces. The result is going to be the same anyway. Enter Liu Qingju, the city's goddess. She's beautiful, royal, and she carries the bloodline of the Nether Phoenix. It's the showdown everyone was waiting for. The Beast King versus the Nether Phoenix, winner takes all. Liu Qingju unleashes her power, purple wings erupting with an aura that's as elegant as it is deadly. But Yihi's shadow is growing. A monstrous silhouette looms over the arena, signaling that something far worse is coming. The arena is packed to the rafters. Everyone is holding their breath as the two most dangerous students prepare to clash. The signal is given. No more talk, no more hype, just pure, unadulterated violence. Raw power slams into royal technique, shattering the arena floor as neither fighter gives a single inch. Pushed to the brink, Liu Qingju finally breaks her shackles. The ancient beast within her is roaring to life, and her true form is taking control. Liu Qingzu isn't just a pretty face. She's a storm waiting to happen, her eyes burning with a royal resolve. The arena is swallowed by smoke, and the crowd is absolutely losing it. This isn't a match anymore. It's a disaster site. Even the announcers are speechless. When you see power like this, the only thing you can do is scream into the mic. Through the haze, a shadow rises. Yihi stares into the smoke, knowing his opponent is finally dropping the act. You see that smirk? Yihi's enjoying this way too much. To him, this isn't an exam, it's a playground. Mountain arresting fist. When Yihi swings, he doesn't just hit you. He hits the air, the ground, and your soul. But Liu Qingzu isn't just standing there. Her moves are like a lethal dance, a cyclone of blue energy that defies logic. The clash is deafening. Raw monster strength versus elite royal martial arts, this is where the real hierarchy is decided. She's like a ghost on the battlefield, spinning through the air with a grace that hides a killing intent. Deep inside, the beast is hungry. That roar you hear? That's the sound of the food chain being violently rewritten. Yihi takes flight, eyes glowing like a predator who's finally found a challenge worth his time. Liu Qingju braces for the impact, her defense barely holding against the tide of blue destruction. The speed is insane. If you blink, you've already missed 3 different ways Yihi tried to end the match. One punch is all it takes to shift the entire atmosphere. This isn't skill anymore. It's pure, unadulterated physics. Yihi is relentless, forcing the city's goddess to her absolute limit in front of thousands of stunned witnesses. A strike that shakes the foundation. Yihi is literally redefining what it means to be a martial artist. Look at those eyes. Something is waking up inside Liu Qingju, and it's definitely not human. Pushed back, but not broken. The Nether Phoenix doesn't know how to quit, even when the odds are impossible. She's gathering every ounce of her bloodline energy for one final, desperate stand against the Monster King. The monster aura is taking over. Yihi is starting to look less like a student and more like a walking nightmare. Total chaos. The energy output is off the charts, and the arena is literally crumbling under the pressure. No more holding back. The pressure is forcing her to shatter her own limits and let the monster out. The final trump card. You see that mark in her eye? That's the sound of the game ending for anyone else. The transformation is complete. Behold the true form of the Nether Phoenix in all its terrifying purple glory. This is it. The real fight begins now, and heaven help anyone caught in the crossfire of these two monsters. Yihi's smirk says it all. He's finally found something worth his full attention, and he's ready to end this match permanently. Atomic Blast Fist. This isn't just a punch, it's a nuclear reaction compressed into a single, lethal strike. The collision is absolute. Purple flames and atomic blue energy clash in a symphony of pure, unadulterated destruction. The shockwave is so violent that even the spectators have to shield their eyes and pray the arena doesn't collapse. Pushed to her absolute brink, Liu Qingju is forced back by a power that feels like a mountain falling on her wings. Look at those eyes. That's the gaze of a goddess realizing that for the first time in her life, she's facing a real monster. The beast within Yihi is finally coming out to play, and his aura alone is turning the arena into a literal hellscape. One roar is all it takes to silence the stadium. The King of Monsters is calling, and the air itself is starting to vibrate with his hunger. Absolute annihilation. Yihi unleashes a beam of pure radiation that swallows everything in its path, leaving only ashes. The crowd can only watch in paralyzed horror. This wasn't supposed to be a deathmatch, but the power on display is beyond anyone's control. Enter Mayor Huang Qing. When the kids start throwing around nuclear-level attacks, the adults have no choice but to step in. Serious eyes for a serious threat. He knows Yahi isn't just another talented student. He's something far more dangerous. Even the announcer is losing his mind. This is easily the most legendary and terrifying fight the city has ever witnessed. Liu Qingzhu stands broken, bleeding, her royal wings shattered. But the fire in her eyes hasn't flickered out yet. Every drop of blood she spills is a testament to the suffocating pressure she's been carrying her entire life. Back to where it all began. A young girl trapped in the cold shadow of her ancestors' legacy and the shrine that became her cage. Qinlan looms over her like a dark cloud. To the world, she's the head of the family. To Liu Qingzhu, she's the one holding the leash. Don't you dare fail. The trauma that shaped the goddess is finally exposed, revealing the cracks in her perfect facade. Back in the present, those psychological chains are finally starting to snap as she realizes she has nothing left to lose. No more family legacy, no more expectations, just her and her raw will to win. She charges forward with everything she has left. She connects. A strike fueled by years of repressed rage and a newfound freedom lands right on Yihi's chest. This is the face of a girl who's finally fighting for herself, and for a second, the entire stadium goes silent in awe. But Yihi, he doesn't look hurt. He looks impressed, his blue eyes boring into hers with a terrifying calm. Yihi is done with the games. He roars, unleashing a level of power meant to push Liu Qingzhu past her limits, or destroy her trying. His downward strike is absolute, crashing through her defense and shattering the last of her dignity. He's not looking for a victory, he's looking for the monster hidden inside her. Yihi is done playing with a girl who's too afraid to use her own power. He wants a real fight, and he's going to drag the monster out of her by force, no matter what it takes. Boom! The psychological chains finally snap, and the Nether Phoenix rises in all its terrifying Tier 4 glory. This isn't just an awakening, it's a total shift in the food chain that leaves the entire stadium breathless. Look into those eyes. That's not the goddess of the city anymore. It's a predator finally set free. And for Liu Qingzhu, the real battle to claim her own destiny has only just begun. Yihi has awakened something terrifying. The nuclear light combat body is here, and it looks like it belongs to a final boss, not a student. He's not here to just win. He's here to dominate. Let's have a good fight, he says, with the aura of a monster ready to tear the arena apart. Speed, power, and radiation. He's closing the distance faster than anyone can track. But Liu Qingzhu isn't going down without a fight. She's tapping into her dark beast bloodline, unleashing a wave of shadows to counter his blinding light. The collision is massive. It's light versus dark, and the very air is screaming from the pressure. Boom! An explosion of pure energy shakes the entire stadium to its foundation. This is beyond any student level. Liu Qingzhu is putting everything on the line, her purple eyes wide with the realization that she's facing something completely inhuman. Massive beams of energy blast through the arena. This isn't an exam anymore, it's a full-scale war zone. The audience is losing their minds. Even the announcers are terrified, realizing the power on stage could vaporize the entire front row. Up in the VIP booth, the heavy hitters realize this is getting out of hand. That isn't just a technique, it's a genetic miracle they can't explain. The mayor, Huang Qing, has to step in personally. The divine leyline wall slams down to protect the city from the fallout of our boy's explosive awakening. Everyone is staring in dead silence. Who is this kid? And where did he get this much heat? The smoke clears, and the result is brutal. Liu Qingzhu is down, her arm battered, and her absolute pride shattered. Yihi stands tall, his silhouette imposing against the fading light. This is what absolute victory looks like. Those blue eyes aren't just for show. He's looking at the world from a peak that nobody else in the stadium can even see. Tears and blood. Liu Qingzhu is broken, realizing that all her hard work and elite bloodline couldn't even dent him. But then, Yihi does something nobody expected. He drops his guard and crouches down to her level, right in the middle of the rubble. No mockery, no pride. Just a simple question that changes everything for the girl who has always fought for her family instead of herself. She felt it. For the first time, she felt the joy of a real fight one, where she could finally breathe. Wait, is the Cold Queen actually blushing? Yihi's charm might be just as dangerous as his radiation. He offers a hand, his arm still pulsing with that unearthly blue glow. He's not just a winner, he's a leader. She's stunned. In a world of ruthless competition and cold bloodlines, he's the only one who actually saw the real her. Without another word, he turns his back on the wreckage. He's got much bigger things to worry about than a semi-final win. That confident smirk says it all. The city of An has found its new king, and he's already looking past this victory toward the final challenge. Liu Qingzhu watches him go, her world completely transformed. Young, as she fades into the background, the arena begins to reset, holding its breath for the ultimate showdown. Our boy stands alone in the center of the arena, the smoke of battle clearing as he prepares for the final showdown. The tension is so thick, you could cut it with a sword. With a triumphant grin and a finger pointed toward the sky, Yihi has just secured his place in the finals. He's making it look way too easy. The livestream viewers are skyrocketing into the hundreds of millions. Everyone wants to see the dark horse who just broke the city's power scale. Enter Chuzhou, the apex of this year's exam. He's wielding an icy blade and radiating a cold, draconic bloodline that's meant to end this match instantly. Yihi meets Chuzhou's icy stare with a savage, confident grin. He's not intimidated by the dragon bloodline, he's hungry for it. Chuzhou leaps into action, his blade weaving a complex pattern of frost and steel through the air. It's a beautiful dance of death. An absolute explosion of icy energy erupts as Chuzhou unleashes his icy pulse. He intends to freeze Yihi where he stands. A massive frost dragon spirit rises behind Chuzhou. It's a manifestation of his overwhelming power and elite status. The entire arena is encased in a massive mountain of ice. The audience is held in a collective gasp, wondering if our boy is still alive inside that frozen tomb. Chuzhou looks on, beads of sweat forming on his forehead. He can feel the heat starting to crack his absolute defense from within. Yihi erupts from the ice with a massive pillar of thermal energy. He shatters Chuzhou's mountain into a million shards of useless glass. Standing in his monstrous combat form, Yihi looms over Chuzhou like a predator that has already finished the hunt. "It seems I counter you by quite a bit," he says. A final, blinding flash of energy marks the end of the resistance. Yihi is crushing Chuzhou's final technique with zero effort. Mayor Huangqing watches from the stands, his expression grim. He realizes the sheer, unbridled potential of the boy standing in the center of that wreckage. Yihi charges forward with the force of a nuclear reactor. His eyes are glowing with an intensity that promises absolute destruction. It's over. Yihi grips Chuzhou's soul-shattering sword intention and snaps it with his bare hands. The monster doesn't care about your intent. Chuzhou's face says it all. Complete, undeniable defeat at the hands of someone who shouldn't even exist. The apex has been dethroned. The monster is gone, replaced by the calm, smiling face of Yihi. Meet the new top scholar of An City. Raising his hand to the sky, our boy acknowledges the crowd as the official winner of the examination. The era of the dark horse has begun. He stands in the middle of the shattered arena, a single figure who just redefined what it means to be a martial artist in this city. Absolute dominance. Yihi really was a dark horse to the end. He rubs his neck casually, as if defeating the city's top genius was just a warm-up. News billboards across the city flash the name Yihi. The bottom-ranked student from last year just became the undisputed #1 scholar. Inspiring, right? The stadium erupts in cheers, a roar of approval for the man who just gave them the greatest show in city history. The world is watching. Mission accomplished. As the announcer screams his name, declaring a new era for An City, Yihi stands there awkwardly, just waiting to grab his prize and escape the spotlight. He's actually amused that the announcer can spin his monstrous display into such a subtle masterpiece of martial arts. But the cameras are rolling, and now they want a word from the champion himself. Yihi gives his winner's speech, looking a bit awkward but trying his best to keep it professional for the cameras. He's the man of the hour. 2 million in scholarships! The announcer is more excited about the payout than the actual fight that just shook the city. Finally, I want to thank myself. Our boy's peak MC energy is on full display. Who needs modesty when you're this strong? The system rings in with the ultimate prize, the #1 scholar title and a random template ability. This is where the real fun begins. While Yihi is trying to process his victory, a classmate tries to distract him with some interesting content on his phone. Stay focused, kid. Reporters are swarming like vultures. Student Yihi decides a tactical retreat is the best move. He's got no time for the paparazzi. He's feeling the rush of victory, but the world is about to get a lot more complicated than a simple tournament win. The vibe shifts instantly as Gorenong to Huadu, Mystery Man, steps out of the shadows, looking like he walked out of a high-stakes thriller. One mention of his hidden past, and Yihi's confident mask completely shatters. This guy knows too much. Genetic lock. Those words carry a weight that our boy isn't ready for, especially when they're tied to the secrets of his father. Gorenong to Huadu, Mystery Man, asks if his father ever mentioned the term. The mystery of Yihi's heritage is officially blown wide open. He hands over a confidential envelope that looks like it contains the secrets of the universe, or at least the dark truth about Yihi's life. Bro opens it, his eyes widening as the truth starts to spill out from the pages. This is deeper than he ever imagined. Prometheus, a name that sounds like a forbidden science experiment and looks even more terrifying on paper. What did they do to him? This Engui Danang to Huadu, Mystery Man, is clearly more than just a messenger. Those eyes have seen the dark side of evolution. Yihi is bluffing his way through the shock, but his inner world is in total chaos. He's officially a marked man. He's already thinking 3 steps ahead. If the world wants a monster to fear, he'll give them exactly what they're looking for. Gotcha time! The system starts the draw for the new template, and you just know it's going to be something game-breakingly unfair. A massive purple and black energy sphere forms in front of him. This isn't just a pull, it's a cosmic event. Yihi stares into the void, his eyes reflecting the raw power of whatever is about to crawl out of the system. Meet the supergiant humanoid template. 60 meters of pure muscle and steam, it's basically a colossal titan on steroids. The scale of this thing is terrifying. If this is just a D rank reward, then the system's ranking is a complete joke. But while Yihi is celebrating his new toy, a shadow is watching from the darkness. Huolong has his sights set on the rare genius. Huolong smells opportunity, a rare genius that even Huadu University will be fighting over, and he's definitely not interested in playing fair. Back in the locker room, Yihi is checking his stats. It's time to use that prize money and level up before the real monsters show up. A letter from Chuzhou arrives. A C-rank secret realm is opening at Redwood Mountain, and he wants Bro to team up. The plot is thickening faster than a boss's health bar. Yihi's face says it all. He knows a C-rank realm in a manhwa is never just C-rank. It's a death trap waiting to happen. Redwood Mountain at sunset. It looks beautiful, but we all know that red glow is just a warning for the blood about to be spilled. The mountain is crawling with martial artists. Everyone wants a piece of the secret realm loot, completely ignoring the fact that most of them are just fodder. Chuzhou greets Yihi with that effortless elite energy. He's ready to see what the top scholar is really made of in a real dungeon. Yihi isn't scared anymore. That predatory grin is back. He doesn't see a danger zone. He sees a buffet of experience points and loot. Chuzhou realizes he might have invited a bigger monster than the ones inside the rift. Yihi is clearly not your average student. Then, it happens. The sky tears open, revealing a jagged, glowing purple rift. The secret realm is here, and it looks absolutely terrifying. A massive, multi-headed hydra screams out of the rift. If this is C rank, then Yihi is going to need every bit of that new giant template to survive. A massive, three-headed avian nightmare descends on Redwood Mountain. These hunters are in way over their heads. Yu Yang thinks he's found a jackpot. Too bad he's actually pointing straight at a death trap. Everyone's diving in for the glory, but they have no idea what's actually waiting in the shadows. Look at those faces. Even the monsters didn't expect this level of disrespect. Deep in the forest, a rift tears open. The air is thick with the scent of blood and old secrets. Yihi walks into the chaos with the vibe of someone who's already seen the ending. Inside the cave, the ghost demon Vine is hungry, using the dead as literal fishing lures. It's a total bloodbath. Steel, magic, and pure desperation colliding in the dark. Chuzhou gets targeted by a freakish monster, but he's not ready to go out just yet. Boom! A blinding flash of energy, and the monster is nothing but a memory. This isn't a battlefield anymore. It's a graveyard of shattered bones and crushed dreams. Yihi isn't just surviving, he's evolving. That blue aura is the sound of the power ceiling breaking. The other hunters can't believe their eyes. Since when can a high schooler do that? Stand back. The real king of this mountain just stepped up, and he's not here to share the loot. Everyone's processing the carnage while Yihi and Huang Yuli are already thinking about the payday. Talk about a heavy carry. Yihi is walking out with enough loot to retire 3 generations of hunters. A mysterious ring? In this world, the smallest trinkets usually carry the heaviest curses. Chuzhou looks at our boy like he's seeing a god or a monster. Honestly, probably both. The big players are moving in. When you're this strong, you don't find the gangs, they find you. Meet Wu Sen, the powerhouse leader of Silver Wolf. He's got the tattoos and the ego to match. Wu Sen is dropping an S-level contract on the table like it's a casual tip. Join the big leagues, kid. Just when you think the bidding war is over, the Chengda gang arrives on a flaming tiger. Talk about an entrance. The representative of Chengda isn't just making an offer. She's here to remind everyone that wealth speaks louder than words. She's prepared to outbid anyone to secure the city's newest star. 2 major martial arts groups are officially at each other's throats over a single high school kid. It's the kind of chaos that sets the whole city on fire, yet the man of the hour remains completely unfazed. Yihi is out here cleaning his ears, while major guilds throw life-changing contracts at his feet. The city's top scorer isn't easily impressed. Silver Wolf wants him bad. Wu Sen is playing the long game, hoping Yihi remembers who showed him respect first. In this world, a handshake is worth more than gold. Power recognizes power. Yihi and Chuzhou are officially on the move. The top 2 rookies of An City together, it's over for these monsters. This isn't just speed, it's a statement. They're blurring through the realm like they own the place. Paradise or purgatory? The Redwood Mountain secret realm is beautiful, but it's built on a foundation of corpses. Something massive is breathing in the dark. You can practically feel the killing intent vibrating through the air. That grin is straight up predatory. Yihi doesn't just want to pass the exam, he wants to devour the competition. Ancient kings of the deep are waking up. One wrong move and the ocean becomes your grave. Yihi spots the target Stud Lake. He's got a radar for trouble, and he's heading straight into the dragon's den. Trippy scenery, but don't get distracted. Those spiral trees are the last thing many hunters ever see. Enter Huang He Li and her squad. They look top tier, but in a secret realm, fashion won't stop claws. Everyone's converging on the same spot. When this many hunters show up, blood is guaranteed to spill. Meet Yu Yang, greedy, loud, and way over his head. He thinks he's found a jackpot, but he's just found his own coffin. Celebrating before the loot is even in the bag? That's a classic death flag if I've ever seen one. Yihi and Chuzhou aren't buying the hype. A relic under a lake? Sounds like a one-way ticket to a disaster. Huang Hei tries to keep her crew in line, but Yu Yang is already blinded by the promise of riches. He has no idea who he's messing with. The air in the cave is thick with the scent of fear. Yu Yang is starting to realize he might have made a huge mistake. Into the abyss. This is exactly how every tragedy starts, and these guys are the first to go. The walls are closing in. Every step deeper is another step away from the world of the living. Our boy's survival instincts are firing. Something is definitely wrong, and the silence is way too loud. He's not terrified. He's thrilled. The danger is finally starting to match his power level, and he loves it. The ghost demon vine is everywhere. The cave isn't just a place. It's a digestive system. Skulls dangling from the ceiling? Yeah, that's not exactly the ancient relic Yu Yang promised. This place isn't a treasure room, it's a pantry, and dinner is about to be served. The nightmare becomes real when they find Li Wei's corpse being puppeted by the vines like a sick lure. That jackpot just turned into a one-way ticket to hell, and the trap is finally closing. Horror on Huang Hei's face as the trap springs. That jackpot they were chasing? It's officially a death sentence. Yu Yang's greed turns into a green nightmare as the parasite takes root. This is the price of entering a secret realm unprepared. The ghost demon vine doesn't just kill, it consumes. Yu Yang is being rewritten into a puppet for the forest's king. Blinding light and total chaos. Yihi isn't holding back anymore. The real power is finally coming out. The ghost demon vine's core is revealed. A red, pulsing heart of pure hunger. It's an ancient god trapped in the deep. Chuzhou can barely process the level of energy vibrating through the cave. The air itself feels like it's about to ignite. Meet the Huo Assassin, a level 8 hunter who's been tracking Yihi like a shark in the water. He's not here for the monster. He's here for blood. Yihi stays cool. He's got enough radiation in his veins to redefine the laws of biology, and he's ready to use it. Chuzhou prepares for a fight he can't win, but our boy is already 3 steps ahead. The assassin thinks he's the apex predator. He's about to find out that Yihi is the one at the top of the food chain. Yihi and Chuzhou face the threat head on. The calm before the most destructive storm An City has ever seen. It's a literal clash of titans. The Huo Assassin brings a level of pressure that would crush any normal student. Chuzhou is pushed to the brink. The sheer weight of a level 8 warrior's intent is like a mountain falling on his head. Determination in the face of death. Chuzhou won't back down, but he knows he's out of his league here. This isn't just an explosion. It's a statement. Yihi releases the atomic explosive fist, and the world turns white. Total, absolute annihilation. Everything in the cave is being reduced to its basic atoms in a microsecond. The Huo Assassin learns a terminal lesson about messing with a walking nuclear reactor. One punch was all it took. Shock is an understatement. Huang Hei and the others just witnessed an extinction event in a cave. The aftermath looks like a war zone. Massive energy pillars tear through the mountain, leaving nothing but scorched earth. A giant rising from the depths? Yihi's monster template manifestation is so massive, it rewrites the landscape. The destruction is over, but the legends are just beginning. Yihi and Chuzhou look at a world that's been forever changed. Fast forward, the wealth from that battle has turned this outpost into a thriving town in just a few days. The economy of power is insane. Time to cash out. Our boy slams the loot onto the counter like he's unloading a mountain of gold. 30 million credits, coming right up. A new storage ring for the new millionaire. When you're pulling in this much high-grade loot, regular backpacks are just a joke. 30 million credits in one haul. Yihi is officially heading to the appraisal center to drop a bomb on their entire valuation system. The appraiser's officially glitching out. She's never seen this much high-grade loot coming from a high schooler in her entire career. Yihi is just getting started. This kind of wealth is just a side effect of being the top monster in An City. Li Yutian from Pinghei Pharmacy is practically begging for a piece of the action. When you have the rarest medicines in the realm, you don't follow market prices. Bidding starts with you. Millions in the bank, but Yihi knows the truth. In a world of monsters, cash is just paper compared to raw, personal power. The inner beast is getting louder. Every victory is just more fuel for the fire burning inside him, and it's getting harder to ignore. Power isn't just about strength. It's about the will to consume everything in your path. The evolution is entering its next phase. Blurring through the streets like a glitch in the Matrix, Yihi is moving at a level that shouldn't even be possible for his rank. Principal Deng knows how to treat a star. Having the city's top scorer in your office is the ultimate flex for any educator. Look at those eyes. That jar contains a 7-star leaf, and for a martial artist, it's worth more than a fleet of sports cars. A private meeting with the man in charge. Yihi is officially a VIP in An City's educational hierarchy. These two are definitely planning something that's going to shake up the local power structure. The alliance of the century starts now. The grind never stops, not even for a phone call. Yihi is already hunting for the next martial arts family to help him break his limits. Local speeders thinking they're the fastest things on the road. They have no idea there's a monster on their tail. They're smiling now, but the disrespect is about to become legendary. You don't brag about speed when Yihi is around. Total focus. When our boy locks onto a goal, it doesn't matter if it's a king-class beast or a speed limit. Imagine being on a high-powered motorcycle and getting smoked by a student on a bicycle. Pure, unadulterated disrespect. The moment they realize they're not the main characters. Welcome to our boys' world, fellas. Enjoy the dust. Welcome to the Liu family estate, where the statues are expensive and the power level of the guards is even higher. Liu Qingju is waiting. The last time they met, they were rivals. Now, she's his ticket into the elite circles of martial arts. A lot has changed since the exams. Our boy is no longer just a talented rookie. He's a phenomenon that everyone wants to own. Step aside, everyone. The real authority is walking into the room, and she doesn't do casual. Meet Qinlan, the matriarch of the Liu family. She's regal, deadly, and she just found the perfect candidate to carry her family's legacy. Even the grandfather spirit is losing his mind. When the ancestors get this excited, you know a massive power-up is about to drop. Qinlan, the powerhouse behind the Liu family, is playing a dangerous game of chess with the future. She eyes Liu Qingzu, knowing that their family's survival now rests on a single unpredictable outsider. Pressure is a heavy crown, and Qinlan makes sure her daughter feels every bit of its weight. Without a master to back them up, the Liu family is one bad move away from total destruction. Liu Qingju can hardly believe it. Their last hope is the same guy she just fought. Enter Yihi, acting all humble with a gift, while everyone knows he's the real monster in the room. Qinlan leads the way, her every step radiating the authority of a woman who gets what she wants. One look into those eyes, and you know, she's not just looking for an ally, she's looking for a weapon. Yihi stays composed, but underneath that calm exterior, the king of monsters is starting to wake up. Liu Qingju is still processing the chaos, while Qinlan is already 3 steps ahead in the pairing game. They head deep into the Liu family's sanctum, a place where secrets are buried in stone. Yihi's confidence is enough to make even the stoic Liu Qingju lose her cool. This massive wall isn't just stone, it's a test of power that has crushed many before him. A simple wall? To Yihi, it's just a punching bag waiting for a reality check. He doesn't just hit it, he unleashes a surge of energy that defies everything they know about martial arts. The wall doesn't just budge, the very air around it screams under the pressure of his strike. Even after that display, Liu Qingzu finds a way to poke fun at the monster in the making. Welcome to the martial arts pavilion, where history and power are stored in every scroll. But the real treasure isn't on the shelves. It's hidden behind the most secure gates in the city. Liu Qingju knows exactly what they're here for, the forbidden devil-in-the-flesh technique. Security codes and biometric locks, all of it is just a formality when the right person is at the door. Shadows stretch long as they enter the heart of the Liu family's forbidden vault. Inside lie the pods containing secrets so dangerous they could rewrite the entire world's power scale. Liu Qingju can't even breathe. She knows that for most, this pavilion is where geniuses come to die. But Yihi just wears that unhinged grin, reaching out to embrace the very darkness everyone else is running from. One touch, and the world shatters. Yihi isn't just learning a technique, he's stepping into a legacy of madness. Behold the devil in the flesh. This isn't just martial arts, it's a living nightmare that consumed every genius before him. Liu Qingju explains that only a master can attach martial rhyme to an object, but she has no idea what her ancestor left behind. She watches him, her heart pounding with a mix of fear and an unwanted curiosity. Is he really the one? Consciousness fades as the trial begins. Yihi hits the floor, but his soul is already somewhere far more dangerous. Welcome to the spiritual realm. Looming over him is the grandfather spirit, a powerhouse who died because he couldn't control his own power. The grandfather spirit is a mass of muscle and manic red eyes, the ultimate gatekeeper of the Liu family's forbidden power. The test is simple: survive. Yihi draws a spiritual blade and dives headfirst into an ocean of shadow monsters. It's a slaughterhouse in the rain. Lightning strikes as Yihi carves through a horde that would have broken anyone else in seconds. The grandfather spirit watches from his perch, waiting to see if this kid has the guts to actually steal his fire. Yihi moves like a blur, his sword flickering through the ghosts as the devil inside him starts to stir. A giant shadow lunges, but our boy doesn't flinch. He's not just fighting these things, he's absorbing the very essence of the trial. Fast, precise, and cold Yihi treats this life-or-death struggle like a walk in the park. Even the ancestor looks stunned. This isn't the struggle he expected. It's a one-man conquest. Z. Something is shifting. Yihi looks at his own hands and realizes that the devil isn't just a name, it's him. That's the face of someone who just realized how unfair his own power is. He's not mastering the technique, he's owning it. Standing on the edge of the world, Yihi stares down the past. He's finished with the warm-up. the source of the martial rhyme, a cauldron of spiritual energy that contains the collective will of the Liu ancestors. A massive spirit rises to end the intrusion, but it's already too late. Yihi is ready for the final clash. One final strike shatters the illusion. The devil in the flesh is subdued, broken, and completely under his thumb. Mastery achieved. The spirits are quelled, and the legacy of Ancestor Liu has found its new, terrifying home. Yihi snaps back to reality on the cold floor, glowing with a power that shouldn't exist in this age. He wakes up and stretches like he just had a great nap, completely ignoring the two women staring at him in absolute shock. 1 hour. That's all it took for Yihi to devour a technique that should have taken years. Qinlan and Liu Qingzu are realizing they haven't just invited a genius, they've invited a monster. The statue goes dark, its secrets stripped bare and mastered in record time. But look at our boy's eyes. He's already planning something absolutely illegal with this new power. Yihi's got that look, the kind of look you only see in protagonists who are about to do something absolutely illegal with their power level. He's not just mastering the devil in the flesh technique, he's practically wearing it like a tailored suit made of pure, unadulterated chaos. Qinlan looks on, sweating bullets, as she realizes the family weapon she just handed over might be a bit more unstable than advertised. Boom! The power spikes so hard it probably just blew out every circuit in the building, and Yihi is just standing there soaking it in. One strike, and the air itself screams. If you thought he was dangerous before, you clearly haven't been paying attention to the lightning crackling off his skin. Qinlan is practically swooning, and not the good kind, more like the I might have just unleashed a god-tier disaster kind. The trial is over, and Yihi is just casually hanging out while the Liu family tries to remember how to breathe again. Qinlan needs a moment to rethink her entire life strategy, while Liu Qingju is still stuck on the fact that he did it in an hour. Time for a quick getaway. Yihi doesn't just leave, he borrows the young master's limited edition bike, because, honestly, who's gonna stop him? A leisurely walk through the Liu family estate, acting like he didn't just break their entire martial heritage for fun. Speed check. Yihi is blurring past everyone, leaving the Liu family guards eating dust and questioning their career choices. The look of someone who just realized his expensive ride is now a very fast memory. That hurts, buddy. It really does. Back home, and it's snack time. Yihi treats high-level monster cores like they're just part of a balanced, spicy breakfast, adding a little extra kick to his monster core diet because if you're going to evolve into a god, you might as well enjoy the flavor. Down the hatch! Every core he eats is just fuel for the absolute monster growing inside him. Stats are looking good. Host Yihi is evolving faster than the system can even track, and the numbers don't lie. The transformation is abrupt, shocking, and completely unfair exactly how we like it. He's ascending. Mutation alert! The system is offering a choice that could change his entire genetic makeup. Does he want to stay human, or become something much, much better? Our boy takes a second to admire the sheer power of his new physique. The devil isn't just a technique anymore, it's his new baseline. He hits the confirm button with zero hesitation. Why stop at greatness when you can aim for absolute cosmic dominance? The scream of evolution. It's not just growth, it's a total rewrite of his existence, and it looks like it hurts just as much as it empowers. The cosmic horror of Star Universe Daimora begins to manifest. This isn't just a monster, it's a world-ending event in the making. The notification is final. Star Universe, Daimora the name that's going to be etched into the nightmares of his enemies. Wait, did someone seriously just break into his house? Talk about hitting the bad luck jackpot, they have no idea who they're about to face. Outside, the sirens are screaming, but the real nightmare is waiting behind that closed door for whoever was dumb enough to step inside. Yihi enters his dark apartment, but he isn't alone. He can practically smell the desperation and high-tech radiation hanging in the air. His eyes narrow. Someone's in his house, and they've clearly overstayed their welcome before they even arrive. Meet Yao Yimei, a high-tech criminal in a sleek, glowing nanosuit who thinks she's found the perfect hiding spot. Little does she know, she just stepped into a predator's den. Through her visor, she sees him a shirtless student who looks way too calm for someone with an intruder in his home. Our boy doesn't look scared. He looks interested. It's like a new toy just fell into his lap, and he's ready to see how it breaks. Outside, Zhou Yi is facing off against the cops, but his real nightmare is already standing right behind him. Zhou Yi triggers a forbidden blood-burning technique, a frantic explosion of red energy that screams for a quick exit. A sudden spike of power hits him like a freight train, knocking the wind out of his desperate gamble. Yao Yimei lunges, her suit's enhancements pushing her to the limit, but she's move for move with someone who's barely trying. Ant City at night is usually quiet, but tonight, this apartment complex is hosting a one-sided slaughter. The two criminals regroup in the shadows, panting and terrified, wondering what kind of monster they just ran into. Yihi looms over them with a grin that would make a demon sweat. He even thanks them for picking his house. Zhou Yi screams in frustration, realizing that their lucky break was actually a death sentence. Yihi focuses on Yao Yimei, his gaze piercing right through her high-tech cloaking like it's cheap plastic. He unleashes the devil in the flesh technique, a brutal display of physical dominance that shatters their resolve in an instant. A collision of raw power, and desperate defense. Our boy isn't just winning, he's rearranging the furniture with their bodies. Zhou Yi coughs up blood as his internal organs take a direct hit from a force they were never meant to handle. One final, devastating punch sends Zhou Yi flying through the apartment, leaving a trail of destruction in his wake. Yao Yimei can only watch in horror as her partner is dismantled like a toy by a guy who's still checking his stats. Yihi stands over the fallen intruder, looking completely bored with the ease of his own victory. The monstrous shadow of Demora towers over the scene, a silent reminder that there's a king in this room, and it isn't the one in the fancy suit. That predatory smile is back. He's not finished playing yet, and Yao Yimei is the only one left to amuse him. Yao Yimei tries one last desperate maneuver, her suit glowing with overloaded energy, but she's just a bug hitting a windshield. A beam of absolute, unfair power tears through her defenses, erasing any hope of escape. The fight is over, but the entity standing in the smoke is no longer the same person who started it. Behold, the Star Universe Daimora, a spike-armored titan born from the wreckage of evolution. This is no longer just a student, it's a living nightmare with a heartbeat, waiting for the world to notice. One look at that smirk, and you know the kid you started this chapter with is gone. In his place stands the king of monsters, and he's just getting started. With one final, earth-shattering blast, the intruders are erased. It seems End City has officially become a graveyard. The sky is dark, the air smells like blood, and the nightmare is only beginning. But in the middle of this chaos, something even more terrifying is waking up. A predator that doesn't belong to this world. It's cold, it's hunting, and it's looking for something. Once it locks on, there is nowhere left to hide. Look at the scale of this power. Yihi isn't just leveling up anymore. He's evolving into a god of destruction. That roar shakes the very foundation of the city. It's not a cry for help, it's a declaration of war against everything. The system confirms it. Host Our Boy has reached an ultra-gigantic anthropomorphic form. The stats are breaking the charts. On the front lines, Yao Yimei is staring death in the face. The blood-eyed ape has arrived, and it's a sovereign-class nightmare. Skyscrapers are falling like dominoes. This isn't a battle. It's a total massacre of the human defense. Yao Yimei looks like a fly compared to this mountain of meat. One wrong step, and she's history. She's fast, she's skilled. But speed means nothing when your enemy can flatten a city block with one breath. The blood-eyed ape is playing with its food. It laughs at human martial arts like they're just children's games. Yao Yimei is pushed to her limit. Her armor is failing, and her energy is almost gone. Hope is fading fast. The scale of this beast is just unfair. It's a literal mountain of rage that won't stop until everything is dust. She charges anyway, giving it everything she's got. That's the spirit of a true martial artist, fighting even when the end is certain. But she's exhausted. The pressure of the beast's aura is literally crushing her lungs. Then, a massive blast of energy erupts. The final defense line of On City is being torn apart by pure light. A direct hit! The explosion lights up the ruins, and for a second, it feels like the world is ending. Everything disappears into the smoke and dust. Is there anyone left to stand against this monster? Back in the city ruins, the real king walks among men. Yihi is done playing around. He finds Luo Xin, broken and bloodied. The arrogant bastard finally realizes he messed with the wrong guy. Luo Xin is clinging to life, but his mind is already shattered. He sees death standing right in front of him. Those purple eyes. Our boy isn't just a student anymore. He's something much darker and more powerful. Behind them, the city burns. But Yihi only cares about one thing, the truth about the golden gene. Luo Xin screams like a lunatic, promising that every corporation on Earth will hunt our boy for that golden gene. He thinks he's just signed Yihi's death warrant. Yihi ends the conversation with one final, brutal strike. He's officially the most wanted man in the world, but he's about to handle the situation in the most Yihi way possible. While the world outside is burning, Yihi is just chilling, checking his messages like he doesn't have a death warrant on his head. Qinlan tells him to lay low, but Yihei responds with the biggest lie of the century, claiming he's the most well-behaved person ever. Sure, buddy, we believe you. In his hands is the real reason for all the chaos, the golden gene. This little canister is a one-way ticket to power or a very painful grave. Laserbird Corporation. These guys are the top of the food chain, and our boy just stole their most precious secret right from under their noses. Time to move. Yihi looks out over a city that's about to experience a level of destruction it's never seen before. And just like that, the beast tide hits. It's not a wave, it's a tsunami of teeth and claws. Behold, the 5th tier, sovereign class beast, the blood-eyed sin wolf. This thing doesn't just kill Narrator unhinged, it erases hope. One look at that monster and regular martial artists are basically paralyzed by pure, unadulterated fear. Its roar is a sound from hell itself, shattering buildings and spirits alike. You don't fight this, you just run. Panic is spreading faster than the plague. Even the seasoned warriors are realizing they're just appetizers for the tide. Carnage in every corner. The defense lines are getting shredded like paper in a hurricane. It's absolute pandemonium. The Sin Wolf looms over the city like a god of death. It's not here to hunt, it's here to conquer. People look to the skies for salvation, but all they see is the dark shadow of a nightmare descending on a city. The military is moving in, boots hitting the pavement and guns at the ready. But can bullets even scratch a sovereign beast? Amidst the steel and chaos, the innocent are the ones caught in the middle of a war they didn't ask for. It's heartbreaking. Inside the command center, the air is so thick with despair you could cut it with a knife. The news is all bad. Every report is a fresh disaster. The city is being eaten alive, and the higher-ups are starting to realize just how screwed they are. Mayor Huang Qing is at his wits' end. The capital is leaving them to rot no reinforcements, no help, just a death sentence. Let's take a step back and see how we got here. Chu-sensei Dojo, the calm before the inevitable storm. Yihi is sparring with Chujo, but something is different. It's like a pro fighting a toddler. No mercy, all speed. Chujo is a genius in his own right, but against the current Yihi, he's basically just a punching bag with blue hair. That smirk. Yihi knows exactly how much power he's hiding, and it's enough to make even a seasoned martial artist's blood run cold. Spar over. Chujo is dying for air, while Yihi is barely even breathing hard. The gap is officially a canyon. Suddenly, the vibe shifts, as the city's alarms scream a warning that can't be ignored. The reality of the beast tide hits them like a truck. This isn't a game anymore. Our boy's got that look in his eyes, the look of a man ready to tear through hell itself. But while he gears up for battle, the people at the top are already watching the first dominoes fall from their high-rises. While the city is turning into a literal hellscape, Qinlan is safe in her high-rise, watching the carnage like it's just another stock market crash. She's got that look of a woman who has a backup plan for her backup plan. Cold, calculated, and completely untouchable. In the office, the tension is thick enough to choke on. The report is in, and city is officially on its own. Qinlan lights up, completely unbothered by the screaming outside. For the elite, a crisis is just another word for an opportunity. Back at the Swan Lake Secret Realm, the sky has turned into a bruised purple. This is where the nightmare was born. Old legends are crawling out of the woodwork. They fought the beast tide 20 years ago, and now they're gearing up for one last suicidal dance. No fear, just duty. These veterans are charging back into the meat grinder with nothing but their blades and their pride. Tanks, jets, and soldiers, the human military is unloading everything. But against a sovereign beast, it's like throwing toothpicks at a tank. Mayor Huang Qing is right there in the thick of it. He's not hiding in a bunker. He's witnessing the absolute slaughter of his people. One of the veteran vanguard is torn apart, blood spilling over the cracked pavement. This is the brutal reality of a sovereign class attack. He's gone, but he didn't die for nothing. He's holding something the only hope and city has left. In his bloodstained hand is a USB drive. The battle data, he whispers. Knowledge bought with the price of a life. Huang Qing can only scream in frustration. He's a mayor, but in this world of monsters, he's just another man watching his world burn. The dying man's face is a mask of agony and regret. He's the first of many who won't see the sunrise tomorrow. And then, the rain starts. Not water, but massive mountain-sized stones falling from the clouds. Absolute destruction. The blood-eyed ape is literally throwing the landscape at them. Buildings vanish in a single hit. It's a massacre from the sky. Huang Qing stands in the fire and smoke, realizing that An City is about to be wiped off the map. There's nowhere to run. That look in his eyes, that's the look of a man who has lost everything but his anger. He's done being a politician. Second wave incoming. The stone projectiles are getting bigger, faster, and more frequent. They're being buried alive. Tanks fire back with everything they've got, but it's like throwing pebbles at a hurricane. Human tech is officially outclassed. And then come the griffins. As if the ground wasn't bad enough, the sky starts hunting too. Flying beasts are swarming the ruins. These winged nightmares are picking off soldiers like they're nothing but snacks. The air defense is being torn to shreds. It's a total swarm. Flying monsters are blotting out what's left of the sun, and the city's heart is being ripped out. Look at the sky! A massive vortex is ripping open, a literal gateway to hell pouring out a swarm of flying nightmares that blot out what's left of the sun. And at the heart of the carnage is the blood-eyed ape, laughing as it watches humanity's final stand crumble into absolute despair. The blood-eyed ape isn't just a monster. It's a living extinction event. Every roar is a death sentence for anyone left in An City. Artillery? Tanks? Against the sovereign-class beast, they're just expensive toys waiting to be crushed into scrap metal. Absolute carnage. This is what happens when humanity forgets its place in the food chain. No mercy, no survivors. Our boy watches the world burn from his rooftop throne. He's not scared, he's just realizing that the city he knew is dead and buried. Because the real monster everyone should be afraid of is currently staring back at us. The king of monsters is finally waking up. And don't let the looks fool you. Even the little ones like Gonke are treating this apocalypse like a playground. Standing on a monster's head? That's just a flex. While the city falls, the mystery man from Huadu is holding a blue crystal, like he's got the cheat codes to reality. Something big is brewing. Panic is the only thing left for the weak. When the tide rises, you either evolve into something legendary or you get erased. A tank falling from the sky? Yeah, that's just a normal Tuesday in End City now. The old world is gone, get ready for the new era of monsters. End City is a straight up horror show. This isn't a battle, it's an all-you-can-eat buffet for the monsters. The martial artists are trying to hold the line, but they're just playing house while the world burns. Then comes a flash of blue steel. Someone's actually fighting back, and they aren't pulling any punches. Enter the Lord-class beast. This mountain of fur and fury is enough to make any sane warrior rethink their career choices. One step, and it's game over. The sheer weight of this thing is turning the street into a graveyard. A beam of pure energy cuts through the chaos. Finally, a hit that actually matters. The beast roars in agony, but the real nightmare is just getting started. Look up! Yi has arrived, and he looks more monster than man. This isn't a rescue, it's a takeover. Check out that grin. Yi isn't just winning, he's enjoying the slaughter. He jumps straight into the belly of the beast. Talk about an aggressive way to handle a hunger strike. Point blank energy discharge! Our boy is literally tearing this thing apart from the inside. Liu Qingju and the others can only watch in total disbelief. Their friend is gone. Only the voix quivot remains. The silhouette of a predator. Our boy stands among the ruins. More terrifying than anything that crawled out of a gate. That eye says everything you need to know. He's found his true calling, and it's violent. Ascending over the city like a dark god. The era of humans playing hero is officially over. He senses them. Every heartbeat, every drop of blood in the city is now his to claim. Enter the mammoth beast. It's a walking fortress that laughs at puny human bullets. The soldiers are trying their best, but best isn't enough when you're fighting a biological tank. It's a total bloodbath. One swing of those tusks and a whole squad becomes history. The human cost is rising by the second. They're being hunted like insects in their own home. Fear is the only thing left in these soldiers' eyes. The city is officially a slaughterhouse. A desperate strike! But when the monster doesn't even flinch, you know you're screwed. Suddenly, the shadows start to scream. Our boy's influence is spreading, and it's hungry. The mammoth is being shredded by shadows from its worst nightmares. Yi has officially claimed his territory, and he's not sharing. One final, blinding strike deletes the competition, proving that this wasn't just a fight, it was a terrifying evolution. Our boy's transformation isn't just a power-up. It's a full-on rewrite of his DNA. He's left humanity behind to become the monster this world deserves. Liu Gensheng can barely believe his eyes. The battlefield is shifting so fast, even a veteran like him can feel the air turning toxic with raw power. The survivors are holding on to hope by a thread, but that thread is about to be set on fire. Liu Gensheng charges forward, but deep down, he knows he's just a distraction in a game played by giants. The radio is screaming for reinforcements, but the city of An is already half buried in ash and smoke. An energy ripple flattens everything in its path. This isn't just collateral damage, it's a declaration of war from a monster that doesn't care about buildings. A massive energy spiral marks the spot where the Lord-class beasts have decided to settle their scores. The skyscrapers are nothing more than toothpicks to them. Enter the man of the hour, Huang Qing. The mayor isn't here to sign papers. He's here to show these beasts that humans still have teeth. A flying beast tries to blindside him, but you don't become mayor of a city like this by being slow. Huang Qing fires a beam of pure solar energy. It's not just a technique, it's the roar of a city that refuses to die. The mountain-crushing python looms over him, its multiple eyes glowing with a hunger that transcends language. This thing is a walking extinction event. Huang Qing stares death in the face and doesn't blink. He's already made his decision, and it's going to be loud. He slams his palm down, grounding the beast with a shockwave that shatters the very foundation of the city. He's dragging this fight into the dirt where it belongs. Direct hit! The monster's head is caught in a maelstrom of light, but a Lord-class beast doesn't go down that easily. Those cold reptilian eyes are staring right through the flames. It's realized that this human is actually a threat. A golden tornado drills into the ground, a last-ditch effort to keep the python from advancing. Huang Qing is burning his life force like it's cheap fuel. The python's jaw unhinges, revealing a dark abyss. It's ready to swallow the city whole, starting with the mayor. Huang Qing stands small against the ruins, but his presence is filling the entire sky. This is the moment a man becomes a legend. The sweat on his brow says he's human, but the fire in his eyes says he's something more. He's reaching the limit. He charges headfirst into the beast's mouth. This isn't courage. It's a cold, calculated sacrifice. His secret technique awakens. Multiple glowing arms sprout from his back, a divine manifestation of his sheer willpower. He's going out in a blaze of glory. The python tries to lash out, its scales pulsing with dark energy, but it can't shake off the human who has decided to end it all. Those green eyes are widening in fear. Even a monster knows when it's looking at something truly dangerous. A man with nothing left to lose. Huang Qing locks the beast in a death grip, his energy-infused arms acting as iron shackles. He's pinning it down for a final countdown that will change the fate of An City forever. The beast thrashes in a desperate bid for freedom, but the trap is already set. As his nuclear heartbeat grows louder, Huang Qing turns his gaze toward the horizon, searching for the true architect of this hell. Huang Qing scans the horizon. The city is a cemetery of concrete, and the shadows are hungry. Out of nowhere, a nightmare lunges. The blood-eyed ape isn't just strong, it's an apex predator that enjoys the hunt. A split-second reaction is the only thing keeping Huang Qing from becoming a stain on the wall. The pressure is suffocating. The beast's fur is like steel needles, and its grip is an iron maiden. Huang Qing is being crushed, but his eyes say he's nowhere near done. Look at the blood-eyed ape. It wears a crown of bone and eyes of pure malice. This is a sovereign-class monster, a god of the wasteland. Huang Qing's vision is blurring, but in that blur, he sees the path he has to take. It's a path with no return. The ground shatters as the ape slams down. The impact is so heavy it feels like the planet itself is breaking under the beast's weight. The ape moves with the speed of a storm. Tempest isn't just a move, it's the sound of reality being torn apart. In the chaos, a bell tolls for the city of An. The sound wave hits the fleeing citizens like a physical wall. It's the tolling of their own funeral. The monster's roar is so loud it manifests as a shockwave, a maw of pure destruction aiming right for the final defender. The blood-eyed ape mocks him. To this monster, Huang Qing is just a stubborn bug waiting to be squashed. But this bug has a stinger. Huang Qing gathers every drop of energy, channeling a lifetime of martial arts into one final technique. A cross-shaped burst of light pins the beast down. It's an absolute domain, a cage of golden energy that even a sovereign can't escape. The energy swirls into a violent vortex, trapping the ape in the eye of a golden hurricane. Huang Qing is using his very life as the anchor. From the center of the storm, the mayor looks down. This isn't a battle anymore, it's a ritual. The blood-eyed ape finally feels the cold touch of mortality. It struggles, it screams, but the cage holds firm. Even in the face of death, the beast grins. It thinks it can outlast a human. It has no idea who it's dealing with. Huang Qing rips his shirt open, revealing a mechanical device embedded in his chest. It's a strategic nuclear detonator wired directly to his heartbeat. The activation is painful. Blood spills from his mouth as the device begins to hum with the energy of 1,000 suns. His heart isn't pumping blood anymore. It's pumping destruction. The detonator is live, and the clock has run out. He smiles. It's a terrifying, bloody, beautiful smile. The song of humanity is the song of courage, and he's about to hit the final note. In his final moments, he remembers his vow. He offered his body, his life, and his soul for the people of An. Today, he pays that debt. The energy hits critical mass. Huang Qing becomes a pillar of white light, an artificial star born in the middle of a nightmare city. In one final, blinding flash of defiance, the light consumes everything: the ruins, the beast, and the hero. Huang Qing has left the stage, taking the nightmare down with him in a burst of absolute finality. A massive mushroom cloud now stands as the only monument in the skyline, signaling the end of the sovereign-class threat. But as the roar of the blast fades, the survivors are left in a silence that screams of a sacrifice no one was truly ready for. The news breaks across the wreckage. A mushroom cloud like a gravestone, the most honest obituary a man like Huang Qing could ever ask for. Even the toughest soldiers are breaking down. They didn't just lose a leader. They lost the man who stood in the gap when the world tried to swallow them whole. A final salute for the hero of An City. Huang Qing paid the ultimate price to give them a future, and they're going to carry that weight for the rest of their lives. Look at that horizon. It's a pillar of fire and sacrifice that marks the end of an era and the birth of a legend. The monsters wanted a war, and humanity gave them a sun. Everyone is staring at the sky in stunned silence. The sovereign-class threat is dead, but the world has changed forever. The city is saved, the hero is gone, and the real king is just getting started. The sovereign-class blood-eyed ape is a screaming mess of bone and ash, barely holding on after the nuclear blast that leveled the battlefield. Sinew struggles to bridge the gaps in its shattered frame as it desperately tries to regenerate. It's a pathetic sight for a supposed king. Purple energy pulses through the skeleton like a twisted life support system. This beast just refuses to stay down. One giant blood-red eye snaps open. It's filled with nothing but pure, unadulterated hatred for the humans who did this. The blood-eyed ape stands tall once more, a grotesque tower of muscle and rage. It's ready for one final, desperate slaughter. It roars a promise to torture every living soul in An City to death. Talk about a sore loser with a god complex. But before it can take a single step, it feels a presence so cold it freezes the very air. The hunter has arrived. Enter Yi. He's not just a human anymore. He's the peak predator in this radioactive wasteland, looking down on the sovereign. Yihi mocks the beast, his voice dripping with arrogance as he tells the monster it's just a little too late to save its life. He moves with blinding speed. Blue energy trails behind him like a comet as he launches a strike that defies common sense. The blood-eyed ape gets manhandled like a common street thug. No amount of sovereign pride can close this power gap. Those cold blue eyes don't show mercy. Yihi is done playing around. He's here to erase this nightmare, once and for all. A massive surge of light begins to gather. This isn't just a fight, it's a total map clearing of the monster tide. Survivors like Huang Heili can only watch in absolute shock as the ground trembles under the weight of Yihi's sheer aura. The blood-eyed ape is broken, its body crumbling under the pressure. It finally realizes it messed with the wrong little monkey. Despair finally hits the beast. For the first time, this sovereign monster understands the meaning of true fear. Yihi isn't even in his final form. He activates the Armored Titan mode and the atmosphere itself begins to scream. The Titan looms over the beast, its fist glowing with enough energy to level whatever's left of the city. No running, little monkey. The blood-eyed ape tries to resist, but it's like an insect trying to stop a falling mountain. It's completely useless. With one swift movement, the beast's limb is torn away like wet paper. Yihi's dominance is absolute. Yihi's grip is like a vice made of pure power. There is nowhere to run, and the beast's time is officially up. The monster hits the dirt, its sovereign pride crushed into the radioactive dust of the Swan Lake. It's over. But Yihi is just getting started. He's about to wipe the entire map clean of every last trace of this invasion. The King of Monsters looks down, his gaze igniting with the blinding radiance of a miniature sun. It's time to settle the bill. Radiant Pulse! A pillar of absolute destruction erupts, surging forward to incinerate the nightmare and reclaim Anne's city from the brink. The Radiant Pulse hits like a freight train, turning the entire battlefield into a void of pure, blinding light. No more hiding for you, monkey. Yihi stands at the center of the storm, shockwaves of energy announcing to the world that the true King of Monsters has officially arrived. Say hello to the monster template. Yihi's Godzilla-inspired form lets out a breath of pure destruction that's definitely not on the menu. The beam carves through the earth like a hot knife through butter, leaving nothing but a smoking trench where a city used to be. The blood-eyed ape is reeling, its sovereign pride shattered into as many pieces as its ribcage. It's a bad day to be a boss. That is one terrifying maw. If you see this in your nightmares, it's already too late. Yihi isn't playing games anymore. The ape tries to pull one last desperate trick, clutching a glowing orb of energy like it's a winning lottery ticket. Spoiler, it's not. Too bad for the monkey, because our boy doesn't believe in second chances or fair fights. He's here to end this. Purple lightning crackles as the beast tries to force its way back to safety. It's trying to run back to the Sin domain like a coward. Not on Yihi's watch. He brings down the hammer, cutting off any hope of escape, and making sure the only place this ape goes is the afterlife. Look at that crazy smile. Yihi is literally coughing up blood and still looking like he's having the time of his life. Absolute madman. You've reached your end. The finality in Yihi's voice is enough to make the air itself stop breathing. This is the climax we've been waiting for. Wait, what? A sudden psychic spike slams into our boy's brain. Someone is playing dirty, and it's definitely not the dying ape. Gross. A field of phantom hands rises from the radioactive lake, grabbing at the giant monster like a scene from a low-budget horror movie. This psychic illusion is pulling out all the stops to save the blood-eyed ape. It's like a wall of living flesh trying to bury the king. The monster template roars through the madness, refusing to be dragged down by some mental ghost. Our boy is fighting a war on two fronts now. The hands are everywhere. A wave of grotesque, pale limbs trying to drown the King of Monsters in a sea of psychic static. Our boy's blue flames flare up, burning through the illusion with sheer, unadulterated willpower. You can't trap a god in a dream. This is the definition of a bad trip, but Yihi is the one driving the bus. He's turning the psychic attack into a bonfire. The blood-eyed ape sees the entrance to the Sin domain. It's so close it can almost taste it, but almost doesn't count in this world. The giant beast tears through the illusion, a roar of pure defiance echoing across the lake as it reclaims its title as the apex predator. Look at those eyes. The sovereign class beast has officially realized it's not the one doing the hunting anymore. It's just prey. More hands? Seriously? Whoever is behind this psychic sabotage is getting really desperate. It's getting crowded in here. Wait, what is that? A mysterious, bloodied face peeks out from behind a literal curtain of hands. This psychic sabotage just took a dark turn into total nightmare fuel territory. Yihi stares the phantom down, his blue aura flaring up to burn through the mental static. He thinks he's got it under control, but this psychic abyss is about to swallow him whole. That psychic attack is getting out of hand literally. Those phantom limbs are everywhere, trying to drag Yihi into a mental abyss. A mysterious woman's head emerges from the chaos, her face covered in hands. Someone is really trying to save that monkey from its fate. She lets out a psychic shriek that would melt the brain of any normal warrior. This isn't just a headache, it's a soul-crushing assault. Yihi is feeling the burn. Even with his monster template, a direct mental hit like that leaves him reeling and bleeding from his mouth. But Yihi isn't your average protagonist. He grits his teeth and forces himself to stay on his feet, refusing to be broken by a mere illusion. He roars through the pain, his eyes glowing with raw, nuclear power. You think you can trap a king? Try harder, Phantom. Time for some payback. Yihi channels the radioactive energy from the blast site into a single, devastating nuclear-powered punch. This is what we call a mini-nuke to the face. The Sovereign-class beast doesn't even have time to blink before the impact. And because Yihi is a complete savage, he tops it off with a middle finger and a smirk. Talk about adding some high-tier insult to injury. The energy erupts. The blood-eyed ape is caught in the center of a nuclear firestorm that erases everything it touches from existence. A pillar of pure destruction reaches into the clouds. And City's nightmare finally ends with one very big, very satisfying bang. The battle is over, but the cost is staggering. 80% of the city's defenders are either dead or permanently out of the fight. Every survivor is a ghost of their former self, leaning on broken weapons in a city that's barely still standing on the map. 1 month later. The Swan Lake secret realm is now a radioactive crater, the perfect playground for our monster-obsessed MC to grow. Our boy is using the radiation as a cultivation sanctuary. Normal people die in minutes here. He just treats it like a spa day. 1 month of absorbing nuclear energy, and he looks sharper than ever. His synchronization with his templates is hitting record levels. Behind him, the spectral shadow of the blood-eyed ape looms now nothing more than another trophy in his collection of monster templates. He needs plant element magic cores to unlock his next big power-up. Good thing he's already got a lead on where to find them. Sunset over a city that's slowly rebuilding from the ashes. And City survived the tide, but the rest of the world is only getting crazier. A statue of Mayor Huang Qing now stands in the center of town, a tribute to the hero who sacrificed everything to save his home. Yihi checks his phone. It's time to move on to a bigger stage. Hwado University wants their star student to report in early. The news is full of reports about a nation guardian being injured. The world is expanding, and new, dangerous players are entering the game. This mysterious powerhouse looks like serious trouble. Yihi better be ready for what's waiting for him in the capital city. Enter Qin Lan, the formidable head of the Liu family. She's luxurious, dangerous, and has a high-stakes business proposal that Yihi absolutely can't ignore if he wants to stay ahead of the game. The goal? Ensure her daughter, Liu Qingju, takes the top spot in the brutal Secret Realm exam. In exchange, those precious plant element cores Yihi needs for his next evolution are as good as his. Yihi is officially the king of networking. He's closing a high-stakes deal with the powerful Qin Lan while the radioactive dust hasn't even settled yet. A month later, and he's looking like he owns the place. That smirk? It's the face of a man who just secured a mountain of plant element cores. Qin Lan is enjoying the view of the city she's about to dominate, thanks to her new associate. The Liu family is playing for keeps. The local hospital has become a temple for the city's survivors. And city might be broken, but it's definitely not out of the fight. Yihi can't even walk down the street without being mobbed by fans. Being the local hero who killed a sovereign beast has its perks and its headaches. He makes his way to the intensive care unit to visit Teacher Liu. The cost of victory is written on every bandage in this hallway. Teacher Liu is lucky to be alive, but he looks like he's already ready for round 2. These warriors are built from different stuff. The hospital is full of heroes who gave everything for their home. This guy lost a leg, but he's still smiling. That's the An City spirit. Yihi's eyes are fixed on the future. He's outgrown this small pond, and it's time to see what the capital city has in store for him. His phone is blowing up again. Apparently, blocking the admissions office of the country's top university isn't considered proper etiquette. Who knew? Our boy doesn't care about protocols. If Hwado University wants the king of monsters, they can wait until he's good and ready to show up. He finishes his business with Teacher Liu. The torch has been passed, and it's time for the next generation to take the lead in the new world. Look at that intensity. Yihi isn't going to Hwado to study. He's going there to conquer every genius in the capital. His synchronization with the monster template is reaching terrifying new heights. The king is stirring in his soul, hungry for more power. One look into his eyes and you can see the nuclear fire burning within. This isn't just growth. It's an evolution that shouldn't be possible. Status update. Cosmic Emperor template at nearly 40% sync. At this rate, he'll be a walking apocalypse before the first semester even ends. The train station is packed with the city's brightest stars, all heading to the same destination. But there's only one real alpha in this crowd. Yihi spots a familiar face, or at least a competitive one. This mysterious blue-haired youth looks like he's actually worth the effort of a fight. Some students are already showing off their skills before they even board. Flashy, but Yihi knows that real power doesn't need to bark. The atmosphere is electric. Every provincial genius is trying to mark their territory and establish dominance before they even reach Hwado. The capital city looms in the distance. The map is getting bigger, the stakes are getting higher, and the enemies, they're getting much scarier. Train G6666, the Special Genius Express. It's a high-speed fortress designed to transport the future of the nation safely. Or so they thought. Our boy boards the train with a confident grin. He knows exactly where he's going, and heaven help anyone who stands in his way. And City is finally in the rearview mirror. The journey to the capital has begun, and the road to becoming the ultimate sovereign is wide open. The cabin is packed with the nation's elite, all eyeing each other like predators. But as Yi-hee settles in, he can already feel it, the eerie calm before a very, very violent storm. Even this high-tech fortress of a train can't hide the tension between these top-tier geniuses. Just as the journey begins, the alarm blares. Something is out there, and it's about to turn this Genius Express into a one-way trip to hell. A peaceful train ride to the elite Hwadu University turns into a nightmare in seconds. A level 1 alert blares, "This isn't a drill, it's a full-blown attack." Pure chaos erupts as students realize their dream school just became a survival game. Everyone is scrambling for their lives, but the predators are already here. In the middle of the panic, Yi-hee and Jo are chilling like they're at a spa. These two clearly didn't get the fear for your life memo. The vibe changes fast when a blood-soaked student collapses in front of them. The danger isn't just coming, it's already finished its first course. Meet Jo Jingxian, a freshman who barely escaped the slaughter. He's terrified, desperate, and carries a warning that would make anyone else turn back. The group gathers around the dying student, but while the others feel pity, our boy is already calculating his next move. The hunt is on. Jo Jingxian begs them to stay away from the front cars, mentioning a girl named Liu Qingju. But telling Yi-hee not to go somewhere is the fastest way to get him there. Enter Yan Zhengsheng, a beast of a man with hair like a lion. This is the kind of high-tier talent Hwadu attracts pure, unadulterated power. The group heads deeper into the train, ignoring the pleas of the wounded. In this world, the weak are just road signs on the path to greatness. Yi-hee's gaze sharpens as he senses something abnormal ahead. His awakening is fresh, but his instincts are those of a veteran monster hunter. A ghostly figure appears in Jo Jingxian's memories, the girl who saved him. Even in his terror, her image haunts the scene like a beautiful omen of death. Shock washes over the wounded boy as he sees the resolve in Yi-hee's eyes. He can't understand why anyone would run toward the slaughter. He remembers the moment the world shattered. The girl stood her ground against an invisible force, her power shimmering in the dark. Violence is the only language spoken here. One wrong move, and you're not just failing the entrance exam, you're ending your life. Yi-hee isn't just a student anymore. He's a king in the making. He stands tall, ready to dismantle whatever is waiting behind the next door. Jo Jingxian coughs up more blood, his time running out. His warnings are becoming a desperate plea for them to save themselves. Jo doesn't hesitate, drawing his blade as lightning crackles around him. If there's a fight, he's going to be the one to finish it. The wounded student collapses, his strength finally failing. He's done his part, now it's up to the monsters to decide the outcome. A final gasp, a look of despair. Jo Jingxian's warning is complete. The stage is set for a massacre. Yi-hee sprints toward Carriage 3, leaving the safety of the normal world behind. He's not running from the danger, he's hunting it. There it is, a swirling vortex of purple energy, the entrance to the Sin domain. This isn't just a train car, it's a gate to hell. Even in a life-or-death crisis, Yi-hee stays practical. He hoists his suitcase over his head, ready for whatever long-haul battle lies ahead. He tosses his gear into the portal first. It's time to stop being a student and start being the nightmare that keeps monsters awake at night. Our boy leaps through the portal, the violet lightning of the trial sealing his fate as he leaves the ordinary world behind. The train cars vanish into static, and he finds himself stepping onto a stage where the laws of physics are nothing but a memory. Yi-hee sprints into the unknown. The transition is instant. 1 second he's on a train, the next he's breaking the laws of physics. Welcome to the Sin domain. A twisted, gravity-defying city that looks like a god's fever dream and the ultimate playground for a monster like Yi-hee. An explosion of pure energy rocks the foundations of this hellscape. The Hwadu University trial isn't just a test, it's a death march. Back on the train, the students can only watch in horror as their peers vanish into the chaos. They have no idea the war has already begun. High above the wreckage, a mysterious silhouette watches. Someone is keeping score, and they're not looking for survivors. They're looking for kings. Liu Qingzu is already in the thick of it, but she's paying the price in blood. This place doesn't care about beauty or lineage-only power. And here comes the first predator, Pig Mask, one of the Zodiac assassins, ready to turn another student into a trophy. Bad news for him, he picked the wrong target. Yi-hee clashes with the beast, lightning crackling as their forces collide. This isn't a fight, it's a statement of intent. Pig Mask tries to end it, but Yi-hee is just warming up. He doesn't just block, he dominates, turning the assassin's momentum against him. The assassin lands a direct hit, or so he thinks. Yahi just smiles through it, his blue eyes glowing with a terrifying light. He's not human, he's something far worse. No more games. Yahi grabs the beast by the jaw, preparing to rip the pig right out of this mask. Talk about a brutal wake-up call. With a sickening crack, our boy tears the mask away, along with the flesh beneath. The nuclear punch didn't stand a chance against pure, raw instinct. He holds the severed head like a discarded toy. Pig mask is down, and the rest of the Zodiac better start praying. The prize is revealed, a glowing green animal pendant. This is the key to Thang Hang, and Yihi just started his collection. Yihi stands amidst the carnage, his aura darkening until the very shadows fear him. He's not just a student, he's the sovereign of this domain now. The other students think they can ambush him while he's distracted. They're about to learn that Yihi has eyes in the back of his head. A volley of arrows rains down, piercing the shadows. But hitting Yihi and killing him are two very different things. Suddenly, a gargantuan, monstrous entity manifests from the darkness. The demon realm illusion is active, and the nightmare just got 10 times bigger. Buildings crumble as the trial escalates into total warfare. Huadu University isn't looking for martial artists. They're looking for survivors of the apocalypse. The locals can only watch from the distance as their ruined city becomes the stage for a massacre. The gods of this world are playing games with mortal lives. Yihi walks through the dust and debris like a god walking through a garden. He's already found his next target, and he's not letting go. But wait, the rabbit mask assassin strikes from the air with surgical precision. This one isn't just a brute, they actually know martial arts. The fight is a blur of high-speed kicks and parries. Yihi finally has a sparring partner who can actually keep up with him. Finally, some real fun. That spear tip was inches from ending the story early, but our boy just laughed it off. The rabbit mask assassin is starting to realize he isn't fighting a student, he's fighting a living hurricane. Total destruction! The ground shatters as their power peaks, leaving nothing but dust and terror. Yihi is smiling through the wreckage he's done playing defense, and it's time to show this assassin what true despair looks like. Yihi doesn't just attack, he descends like a god of war. The rabbit mask assassin thought he had the upper hand, but he's about to realize he's just prey. Look at the fear in those eyes. Even through a mask, you can feel it. When Yihi decides you're done, there's no escape. Something ancient and terrifying awakens within the ruins. A spectral beast manifests, proving that the Sin domain is more than just a graveyard, it's a living nightmare. A massive pillar of light shatters the skyline of the Sin domain. This isn't just a battle, it's a beacon for every monster and hunter in the area. High above the chaos, Huang He Li watches with a bored expression. As an elite martial artist, this bloody trial is just a casual Tuesday for her. Meet Yan Jingxiong, a literal giant with hair like a lion's mane. He doesn't walk, he looms, and every step screams pure, unadulterated physical power. The name Huadu shines like gold, but beneath the prestige is a meat grinder. Only the most ruthless monsters will make it through those gates. Every student stops to stare as the sky itself is torn open. The trial just escalated from difficult to apocalyptic. Shock and awe turn into pure terror. These freshmen thought they were special, but the Sin domain is here to humble them in the worst way possible. The light pillar pierces the heavens, signaling the arrival of something or someone who shouldn't be here. The game has changed. Then there's Ouyang Ze, the pink-haired genius in the white hoodie. He looks like he'd rather be taking a nap, which usually means he's the most dangerous person in the room. Blood splatters across the ruins as Ouyang Ze moves like a ghost. For him, these Zodiac assassins aren't enemies, they're just delivery boys for his loot. He holds a handful of Zodiac pendants, like they're cheap trinkets. While others are struggling to survive, Ouyang Ze is out here grocery shopping. Ouyang Ze's cold gaze fixes on the horizon. He knows there's only one person here who can actually provide a challenge, and he's looking for him. A massive, shadowy figure looms behind the scenes. This isn't just a school trial, it's a setup, and the players are just beginning to see the strings. The two titans, Ouyang Ze and Yanjiang Xiong, stand together. A partnership between a genius and a beast? That's an unfair advantage if I've ever seen one. Ouyang Ze's eyes flare with an eerie green light. He's activating a relic, and when he does, the world stops being a place and starts being a target. A single green pendant glows with forbidden power. It's the ultimate prize, and everyone is about to lose their minds trying to claim it. Back with the MC, Yihi and Chuzhou are moving through the wasteland. They look like they're on a casual stroll while the world ends around them. Talk about nerves of steel. Yihi freezes. He senses a presence that shouldn't be there. Something is lurking in the gaps between reality, and it's watching him. The very ground shatters under the weight of an invisible force. Someone is hiding in plain sight, and they're about to make a huge mistake by choosing our boy as their target. Chujo realizes they're not alone. They're nearby, he whispers. But our alpha male mixed sigma isn't worried, he's just annoyed his walk was interrupted. With a thunderous roar, Yi-hee swings his blade. He's not aiming for a monster, he's aiming for the empty air. And then, the air starts bleeding. Lan Yuxi's perfect invisibility is shattered like glass as Yi-hee's blade cuts through her reality. She thought she was the hunter, but now she's just an exposed target in a world where being hidden was her only shield. Yi-hee pins the assassin down with a cage of energy spikes, ending her game before it even started. But just as the air settles, a sudden wave of heat rolls in. It looks like someone else is ready to bring the fire. Fire clouds erupt everywhere. Shin-chen isn't just a smoker, he's a walking bonfire, and he's ready to turn this trial into a backyard barbecue. Meet Shin-chen, a guy who thinks a lighter and a smirk make him a main character. Spoiler alert, in this manhwa, that just makes you high-tier fodder. Lan Yusi thought her invisibility made her untouchable. Yi-hee just grabbed her like a lost kitten, proving that in front of a real monster, there's nowhere to hide. Shin-chen's not done yet. He's pushing his flame demon battle body to the limit, bloating up with energy like he's about to pop. One breath is all it takes for him to fill the area with a fire cloud. He's trying to choke the life out of Yi-hee, but he's basically just blowing smoke. Lan Yusi finally drops the act. She pulls out her golden fan, eyes flashing with the kind of ego you only see in characters that are about to get absolutely wrecked. "Wind, come!" she screams, whipping up a gale. She's trying to combine her wind with Shin-chen's fire for a dual element combo that's supposed to be legendary. The result is a massive firestorm that consumes everything. To any normal student, this is game over. To Yi-hee, it's just a nice, warm breeze. Look at these two, smirking like they've already won. They honestly think a little smoke and mirrors is enough to take down a guy who eats sovereigns for breakfast. Then, it happens. Our alpha male MC Sigma doesn't even use a skill. He just claps his hands, and the sheer pressure shatters the firestorm into 1,000 pieces. Shin-chen's face says it all. The cockiness is gone, replaced by the realization that he just brought a lighter to a nuclear war. Speed? No, this is teleportation. Before Shin-chen can even blink, a fist is inches from his face. The power difference isn't a gap, it's a goddamn ocean. Impact. Yi-hee doesn't just hit him, he erases his dignity. One strike is all it takes to turn a Hwadu University geniuses into a stain on the pavement. Lan Yusi is sweating buckets now. Her invisibility is broken, her partner is down, and the monster in front of her is just getting started. She tries to run, but Yi-hee's already pinned her feet to the ground with energy spikes. You don't get to leave the Sin domain until the king says so. Suddenly, the atmosphere turns heavy, suffocating. A massive, shadowy horror looms over the ruins. Welcome to the Demon Realm illusion. Lan Yusi is practically vibrating with fear. She's realizing that the freshman she tried to hunt is actually the most terrifying predator she'll ever meet. Yi-hee grabs her like she's nothing, slamming her into the dirt. He's not even fighting anymore, he's just pest control. In a last-ditch effort, she creates a dozen illusions of herself. Which one is real, she thinks. But our alpha male MC Sigma doesn't play games. Yi-hee doesn't need to find her. He just unleashes his killing intent, a flood of red aura that summons the shadows of every monster he's ever slaughtered. The illusions shatter like glass. One by one, her copies scream and vanish as the real nightmare takes over the field. And there it is, that smile, the face of a man who isn't just winning a trial, he's taking over the world. Chapter 10 ends here, and our alpha male MC Sigma is officially the boss of the Sin domain. Ouyang-ze and Yanjiangshong realize too late that the hunter has become the hunted. The predator they were looking for is much closer than they thought. In the middle of the street lies the body of Shin-chen, one of the top geniuses, cut down like common grass before the trial even truly began. A single, clean strike ended his journey. This wasn't a fair fight, it was a targeted execution. Behold the Dragon Mask. The ultimate boss of the trial has broken free from its cage and started a bloodbath in the dead city. Ouyang-ze trembles as he realizes the gap in power. Even with all his artifacts, he's nothing more than a bug in the eyes of this monster. Bodies pile up at every corner. The Dragon Mask isn't just winning. He's cleaning the board of any potential threats. The smell of blood fills the air, and for the first time, Ouyang-ze understands what true terror feels like. His next breath might be his last. The system confirms the nightmare. One by one, the strongest candidates are being eliminated, leaving a trail of red across the leaderboard. But, in the distance, a different kind of power begins to stir. Our boy's eyes flare, with a light that doesn't belong to any student. The king of monsters is no longer sleeping. Golden wings erupt from his back as he prepares to show this city who really owns the night. A massive purple energy beam pierces the clouds. Lu Qingju has activated her Nether Sparrow bloodline, a final desperate signal. Lu Qingju falls to her knees, her energy spent. She didn't send that signal to be saved. She sent it to warn Yihi to stay away. As her consciousness fades, she remembers his face. A simple photo on a phone, the only piece of warmth left in this cold, dying city. Our boy locks onto the signal with a cold focus. If anyone's going to be doing the killing today, it's going to be him. He streaks across the skyline like a falling star, a golden blur of raw power and murderous intent. He descends with the weight of an entire mountain range, ready to crush anything that stands in his way. Just as the dragon mask prepares to strike, our boy lands. The shockwave shatters the concrete, announcing the arrival of the true alpha. A monster meets a king. The dragon mask stares into the golden abyss of our boy's eyes and finally finds something to fear. The zodiac pendants, the petty prize they were all fighting for, suddenly seem meaningless in the face of this absolute power. Yihi hovers in the air, his presence alone warping the space around him. The trial is over. The massacre has begun. The dragon mask roars, entering his second phase as dark energy explodes from his body. He won't go down without a fight. The boss goes into a frenzy, unleashing a torrent of strikes that would have killed any other student in an instant. But Yihi remembers Yan Zhengxiong's defeat. It only took 3 minutes to crush that genius, and this boss won't last much longer. Yihi grips the stolen heavy saber, his predatory smile making it clear he's done playing games. It's time to see what's really hiding behind that arrogant facade. The mask shatters, revealing the face of a desperate killer, caught in a nightmare. But even with the boss exposed, the chaos is only getting started, as the final challengers prepare their most desperate moves. Yan Zhengxiong goes all out, summoning his giant tiger spirit for a massive aerial assault. He thinks this flashy move will actually work on a monster like our boy. He comes crashing down with enough force to level a building, but our boy meets the tiger's maw head-on with a single, calm blade. Sparks fly as the two powers clash. Our boy holds his ground effortlessly against Yan Zhengxiong's raw physical strength. In the background, the dragon mask looms, watching the struggle with a broken face that reveals the horror underneath. Yan Zhengxiong screams in rage, channeling every ounce of his beast-like power for one final, desperate strike. It's a chaotic dance of primal spirits, the dragon, the tiger, and the one man standing between them all. And then comes the ultimate disrespect. Yihi just sits there, looking bored out of his mind, while Yan Zhengxiong goes through his final form routine. You can see the exact moment Yan Zhengxiong's soul leaves his body as he finally realizes he's just a side character in Yihi's world. Yihi doesn't even bother to stand up. He just waits for the perfect opening to end this joke of a fight. Yan Zhengxiong's face is a mask of pure shock. He's putting everything on the line, but he hasn't even made Yihi sweat. Yihi finally moves, descending from above like an angry god. Blue energy crackles around his strike, sealing Yan Zhengxiong's fate. Boom! A massive pillar of light erases any doubt about who's the real boss of this trial. Yan Zhengxiong is face down in the dirt, coughing up blood. Our boy stands over him, casually asking if that ambush was actually supposed to be a threat. The lion is reduced to a whimpering pup, letting out a guttural scream of rage and helplessness as his pride is shattered. Yihi picks up Yan Zhengxiong's massive saber, like it's a toothpick. Your weapon has good weight? I'd like to borrow it, mind? The stolen blade hums with terrifying power in Yihi's hands, covered in jagged spikes of black energy. It found a real master. He moves on to the next task, ignoring the other students while he focuses on collecting the zodiac pendants. A glowing green trophy from a victim who never stood a chance. One more piece of the puzzle in Yihi's hands. Meanwhile, Ouyang-ze is learning the hard way that some enemies can't be calculated away. He's broken, bloody, and running out of time. The dragon mask floats in a sea of purple fire, looking like a literal nightmare come to life. There is no escaping this field domain. The boss pulls out a mechanical relic, a spiral-tipped tool designed to pierce through any defense and end Ouyang-ze's struggle. The monster looms over the fallen genius. Ouyang-ze can only stare up in horror as the shadows of the dragon mask close in. A single, brutal strike pins Ouyang-ze to the ground. His life fades as the boss prepares to hunt the final target. Liu Qingju is barely hanging on, dragging her wounded body up the stairs. Every step is a battle against the pain and the creeping darkness. Her clothes are shredded and blood soaks her back. She's the last one holding the ox pendant, and she knows the hunter is already on her trail. Liu Qingju pushes her body past the breaking point. She knows she can't win, so she's betting everything on one final, desperate signal to warn Yihi. A massive purple shockwave erupts as she awakens the Nether Sparrow bloodline. It's a beacon of hope for others, but a death sentence for her. She collapses, her energy completely spent. She did her part. Now all she can do is wait for the darkness to take her. But the hunter is faster than she ever imagined. The dragon mask drops down from the shadows, blade already drawn for the kill. In that split second, she realizes there's no escape. The gap between a student and a high-level assassin is a bottomless abyss. He looms over her like a grim reaper, purple energy crackling from his weapon. He's cold, methodical, and ready to finish his hunt. The dragon mask reaches out, his killing intent so thick it feels like lead. This is the end of the line for little Juju. Wrong. The sky splits open as Yi drops from the heavens like a meteor of pure wrath. He doesn't just arrive, he invades the battlefield. He slams into the boss with the force of a tectonic shift. Did you really think you could touch what's mine? Our boy stands between the prey and the predator, casually holding the massive saber he just borrowed. The entire vibe of the city just changed. The impact splits the skyscrapers apart. This isn't a rookie trial anymore. It's a collision between two monsters that the system can't control. Yi smiles. And it's the most terrifying thing on the rooftop. He's not here to rescue her, he's here to slaughter the thing that dared to hunt her. The dragon mask tries to use a mechanical artifact to pin him down, but our boy just shrugs it off like it's a mosquito bite. Weak tricks for a weak boss. The boss is forced to retreat. Realized he's not fighting a student, he's fighting a force of nature that's actively mocking him. They clash again, and the speed is so high the air itself starts to scream. Every parry from Yi sends shockwaves through the entire building. The dragon mask throws everything he has, but Yi is just moving in a higher dimension. He's not even trying yet. Our boy counters with a strike so fast, the boss can only scream in frustration. The predator has officially become the plaything. Our boy enters his true Monster King state. His body is covered in organic armor, his eyes glowing with the hunger of an ancient deity. Run. It'll be more fun that way. A single strike shatters the dragon mask into 1,000 pieces. The myth is dead, and the terrified face underneath is finally revealed to the world. The boss is panicking now, swinging wildly as his field domain begins to crumble under Yi's sheer presence. The king has reclaimed his throne. Our boy carves through the boss's defenses like they were made of wet paper. He's not just winning, he's erasing the dragon mask from existence. Every swing of the stolen saber carries the weight of Yi's utter boredom. He expected a challenge, but all he found was a puppet. The boss tries one last desperate strike, but our boy just steps into the blow with a cold, terrifying smile. He's done playing. He catches the killing blow with his bare hand, blue eyes burning with cold amusement. The dragon mask's reign of terror is officially over, and the trial has just become a slaughterhouse. Look at that grin, that's the face of a man about to break the system and everyone in it. Don't look away, because the real massacre is just one punch away. Yi slams a blue energy fist into the dragon mask, proving that he doesn't even need a weapon to dismantle this boss. The pressure alone is enough to crack the pavement. The mask falls away completely, revealing a face twisted by shock and disbelief. He's finally realizing that he isn't the predator in this city, he's just a snack. Our boy lets out a roar, his blue eyes glowing with a feral light as he prepares to finish the job. The Monster King is in total control now. The system itself starts to glitch, unable to calculate the raw power flowing through Yi's body. He's no longer just a student, he's an anomaly. The boss tries to retreat, but our boy is everywhere at once, parrying every move with a precision that's almost insulting. There's nowhere left to hide. A storm of blades and energy erupts as Yi unleashes his full combat potential. This isn't a duel, it's a lesson in absolute dominance. The terror in the boss's eyes is delicious. He thought he was a legend, but he's about to be forgotten by history. A final, crimson explosion marks the end of the dragon mask's reign. The dead city has a new ruler, and his name is Yi. See you in the next chapter for the aftermath. Our boy lets out a primal roar, his body overflowing with blue energy as he pushes his human limits to the breaking point. He charges like a bullet, shattering the ground beneath him and turning the air itself into a shockwave. The clash sends tremors through the entire simulated city, turning massive buildings into piles of scrap and dust. Standing amidst the wreckage, Dragon Mask reveals his true, terrifying form, a living legend carved from pure awesomeness. His eyes burn with a murderous light, staring down the man who dared to challenge the strongest data model in history. But Yi doesn't flinch. He swings his blade with a smirk, slicing through the darkness with impossible speed. It's a battle of monsters where logic no longer applies. Only the predator who strikes first survives. As the dust settles, a single jade pendant glows the ultimate prize from a victory no one thought possible. Yan Zhengsheng can only watch in absolute silence, paralyzed by the sheer scale of the power he just witnessed. Liu Qingju stares with wide eyes, her heart racing as she realizes she's standing in the presence of a new god. Even the arrogant Wu Yangze is left speechless, his pride shattered by Yi's overwhelming dominance. The simulation ends, but the shock remains. The untouchable dragon mask has finally met his match. Back in his normal state, Yi stands before the stunned group, calm, as if he hadn't just rewritten the university's records. 12 pendants, 12 legends, and now every single one of them belongs to the king of monsters. Yan Zhengxiong struggles to find words. Our boy didn't just win a trial, he conquered a legend. The dragon pendant vibrates with ancient power, finally acknowledging its true master. On the train to Sky City, the survivors still can't believe it. One question hangs in the air. Did it really happen? High above the clouds, the majestic Sky City of Hwadu University reveals itself a paradise for the elite and powerful. A massive eye-like portal watches over the floating metropolis, a gatekeeper for those destined for greatness. As he enters his new luxury quarters, Yihi feels his blood begin to boil as the next phase of evolution begins. While the other freshmen are busy gawking at the luxury, Yihi is already preparing for his next meal. The system grants him a special template draw the reward for outperforming every student in Hwadu's history. A dark, swirling card emerges from the void. This isn't just a power-up, it's a disaster waiting to be unleashed. The vampire Rakud reaches its final form, a crimson calamity that transforms blood into pure, unadulterated power. With time itself now his personal plaything, our boy is the undisputed king of this trial, but in a school full of monsters, his fame is already attracting some unwanted attention. Meet Ouyang Zhe, the guy who thinks he's the main character, offering our boy a spot in his flashy new organization like he's doing him a favor. The crowd is absolutely losing it because the school's top dog actually reached out to a nobody first. Talk about a power move. But our boy? He couldn't care less. Solo leveling is the only way to play this game, and he's not about to start sharing his loot. Ouyang Zhe drops his card, convinced Yihi will eventually come crawling back once the real heat starts. Good luck with that. Look at those eyes. The city of the future is finally in sight, and Yihi is ready to see if it lives up to the hype. Welcome to Hwadu, a cyberpunk wet dream floating in the clouds. It's bigger, brighter, and way more dangerous than anything he's seen before. The transfer is complete. Time to step off the train and realize that life in a big city is a whole different beast. Freshmen are being funneled into the campus like cattle, but only the wolves are going to survive the next few years. Forget the subway. We're traveling in high-tech shuttles, because in Hwadu, the sky is literally the limit. Boarding time. You can practically smell the money and desperation in the air as everyone prepares to find their place in the hierarchy. Yihi hasn't changed a bit, still finding time to annoy Liu Qingju even while standing in a futuristic airport. Some things never change. Liu Qingju is definitely not amused, giving him the public decency talk while the elites try to maintain their cool in the background. There it is, Hwadu University, a massive floating fortress in the clouds designed for the next generation of monsters. Breaking through the energy barrier. Once you cross this line, there's no going back to the boring life of a normal citizen. Rank S. Not that we expected anything less for the man who just casually ended a legendary dragon mask. That card is basically a blank check. The architecture here is absolutely insane, high-speed elevators that make you feel like you're being launched into orbit. Yihi is already acting like he owns the place, pointing out the sights while the others are just trying to keep their jaws off the floor. Going up. In this school, the higher the floor, the more blood you probably had to spill to get there. Luxury dorm? This looks more like a penthouse for a king. Hwadu University really knows how to treat its top-tier talent. A high-end rig, an ergonomic chair, and a view to kill for. This is the ultimate I made it moment for any gamer student. A bathtub big enough for a small army, complete with a rubber ducky, because even kings need to unwind sometimes. Face planting into a bed that costs more than a house. This is what peak performance looks like in the afterlife of a legend. But the grind never stops. Our boy is already on the Hwadu Pass app, ready to drop a casual 30 million on some power-ups. S-rank perks are insane. With 30 million coins to burn, the materials for his final breakthrough arrive at his door in record time. Magic Core is the raw fuel for evolution. One final push and his vampire template will finally reach its absolute peak. The grind finally paid off. 100% compatibility with the Rakud template, and the Crimson Calamity is officially off the chain. Yihi's physical evolution is immediate and visceral, turning his very DNA into a tool for destruction. Those aren't just hands anymore. They're the claws of a predator that has climbed to the top of the food chain. One punch, and the air itself screams in protest. The raw power of the Crimson Calamity form is absolutely off the charts. Training in total isolation because ordinary facilities just can't handle the heat of a 100% monster template. 100% compatibility isn't just a stat. It's a physical manifestation of pure, unadulterated monster energy flaring through his veins. Meet the Crimson Calamity. This isn't just armor, it's a living nightmare that thrives on the thrill of the kill. A single slash is all it takes to rewrite the battlefield. In this form, Yihi is less a student and more a force of nature, testing his limits against the university's strongest simulations. Crimson Calamity versus the Rose of Blood, let the monsters play. The recoil is a beast, but Yihi forces his body to endure. He's gritting his teeth, pushing past the pain to reach a new peak. The clash generates a vacuum of pure energy. He's not just fighting, he's rewriting the very laws of combat in real time. Metallic bones and reinforced skeletal structures, his body is literally being forged into the ultimate living relic. Destruction follows every movement of this new form. The training room is being systematically dismantled by his sheer presence. Look at that psycho grin. The more he bleeds, the more he realizes just how unfair his new power really is, and he loves every second of it. Now for the real prize. It's time to test the ultimate cheat code, the time freeze ability. 5.1 seconds. In a world of high-level martial artists, 5 seconds of frozen time is a guaranteed death sentence for anyone in his way. He's pushing himself until his eyes literally bleed to hold the freeze. He's reaching for the impossible, and he's almost there. 5.5 seconds! He's moving through a world of statues, a god of time walking among men who can't even blink. Test complete. He's a bloody mess, but the power boost was worth every drop of sweat and blood. The sun is up, and it's time for school. Chujo has no clue he's walking next to a walking catastrophe. The mentor selection ceremony is about to begin. Usually, students beg to be noticed, but this year, the script is flipped. The ultimate flex pops up on his phone. Since he collected all 12 zodiac pendants, he can choose times any times mentor, and they can't refuse. Athletics Hall A. This is the stage where legends are chosen, and where Yihi is about to give the deans a massive headache. The athletics hall is packed with freshmen desperate for a scrap of attention, but they're all just background noise compared to the predator standing in their ranks. Chujo is sweating buckets under the weight of the master's gaze, but our boy is just casual as ever, completely unimpressed by the legendary figures watching them. While the other freshmen are desperate to impress the masters, our boy finds the whole mentor selection process a total snooze. But then he senses a scent of blood and absolute power so thick it sends a cold sweat down his spine. He follows the aura and finds a little girl eating a sweet potato. Meet Gongke, a lolly-faced grandmaster who's lived for over a century. Gongke doesn't even look up to know that Yihi is training in the forbidden flesh demon physique. She's seen it all before. She mentions her old disciple from 90 years ago, a man who became a legend that our boy only knows from history books. This little girl is actually a living fossil, with enough experience and raw power to flatten the entire university. Our boy can't help but laugh. He's finally found exactly what he was looking for, a master who's actually a threat. But when her suppressed aura flares for a split second, it feels like a guillotine is hanging right over his neck. One wrong move around Gongke, and you're not just dead, you're completely erased from existence. He snaps back to reality, sweating as he realizes he's finally met a predator that's even higher on the food chain than himself. Gongke puts on the cute act, but those red eyes have seen 100 years of slaughter. Forget the academy deans. Yihi drops to his knees. He's found his master, and he's not taking no for an answer. It's the ultimate comedy of errors, the world's most talented freshman begging a potato-eating child to teach him how to kill. Gongke is surprised. She hasn't seen anyone this bold or this crazy in a very long time. Meanwhile, the Numvivian Churn Daihakwaru are watching their perfect plans for Yihi go up in smoke. They thought they were the ones judging the students, watching them through their high-tech cameras like rats in a maze. Our boy's clean sweep of the zodiac pendants has made him the most valuable asset in the history of the university. The deans are already arguing over which academy suits him best, completely unaware of the chaos he's about to unleash. A mysterious figure watches from the shadows, sensing that the balance of power in Huadu is about to shift. The administration is in a total panic as they realize Yihi is about to make a choice that breaks every rule in the book. The dean's faces say it all. Yihi picking Gongke as his mentor is the worst possible timeline for the school. Yihi isn't letting her go. He's practically tackling his new master in his excitement to start his real training. Gongke is in! For the first time in 100 years, the campus's living calamity officially has a disciple. The Sigma Wolves arrive like a thunderclap, their combined auras flaring as they move to stop this unauthorized master-disciple bond. One of the deans, hidden behind a golden mechanical mask, issues a cold warning reminding Gongke of the ironclad vow she made to never interact with a student again. Formalities are usually a snooze, but even a monster like Yihi knows when to show respect to a century-old legend like Gongke. With the strongest child in history as his mentor, Yihi struts away with a smirk, leaving the deans to clean up the chaos he just dropped on their campus. This isn't just a win, it's a takeover. A power reading of -666, this training session is already screaming bad news. Our boy wonders why this high-tech institute has such cramped hallways, completely unaware of the predator standing right next to him. Gongke moves like a blur. 1 second she's standing still, the next she's a total killing machine. Look at those eyes. That's the gaze of a special class combatant who has forgotten how to hold back. Yihi tries to regain the upper hand, but in this narrow space, there's absolutely nowhere to hide. A heavy-duty blast door gets sliced like butter. This isn't just martial arts, it's pure, unfiltered destruction. Our Sigma Wolf Alpha male is stunned. He finally realizes this lowly mentor is actually a living, breathing, natural disaster. Jack it off. Now the real lesson begins, and trust me, it's going to be a painful one. This isn't just a training room. It's a high-end prison where Gong-Kei has been trapped for 30 years. But behind all that killing intent, she's just a lonely girl, surrounded by trash, games, and isolation. Above the surface, Huadu University looks peaceful, oblivious to the monster being forged beneath its floors. Principal Shi Jingwen gets the alert. The balance of power is shifting, and it's all because of one student. Gong-Kei's file is terrifying. A special class combatant with a berserk risk? Yihi is literally playing with a ticking time bomb. Her shared room survival rate is technically high, but only because nobody has ever survived long enough to lower it. The principal knows the world is changing. A new generation of monsters is needed, and he's found his prime candidate. He's not just educating students anymore. He's building weapons for the inevitable wars to come. The message is clear. Grow fast or be left behind in a world that's becoming increasingly dangerous. Our boy is ready to push past his limits. No more playing around. It's time to embrace the power within. Gong-Kei locks on, her killing intent so thick it feels like a physical weight crushing the air. Yihi barely ducks a strike that would have taken his head off. He's finally starting to see the kill line in real time. In that split second, everything slows down. He catches her reflection in his eye, the eye of a predator. Finally, the beast awakens. Our boy lets out a roar that shakes the foundations of the entire institute. She's actually smiling. Gong-Kei hasn't felt this alive or had this much fun in decades. It's a monster versus a professional killer, and their clash is turning this entire basement into a total war zone. But even with his beastly strength, Gong-Kei shuts him down with terrifying ease, leaving him broken, bloodied, and pushed to his absolute limit. Yihi looks like he just crawled out of hell. He's covered in blood, but that grin tells you he's just getting started. Gong-Kei isn't just a mentor, she's a predator. Licking blood off her face with that look in her eyes, yeah, our boy is in for a nightmare. Our boy taps into the monster within, summoning a massive phantom that dwarfs everything in the room. This is the King of Monsters awakening. His eyes are sparking with raw electrical power. He's not just a student anymore, he's becoming a force of nature. Gong-Kei doesn't even look worried. She takes a stance that screams, "I've killed things bigger than you for breakfast." The clash is absolute madness. Blue and pink energies rip through the air as these two monsters collide. Yihi's high-tech beast form is terrifyingly fast, lunging from above to crush his master. But Gong-Kei is a ghost. She slips past the armor in the claws like they're standing still. Then comes the counter. She channels a red aura into a kick that feels like it could shatter a mountain. Direct hit! Even in that armored form, our Sigma Wolf alpha male is getting tossed around like a rag doll. She's having too much fun. That smile is the scariest thing in this entire basement. Yihi charges his breath, a concentrated beam of death aimed straight at his mentor. High stakes? This is a death match. Suddenly, the world shifts. Yihi is trapped in a mental hellscape, bound by chains that burn into his soul. Look up, kid. A massive guillotine hangs over his head, the literal manifestation of Gong-Kei's killing intent. The blade drops. In Gong-Kei's world, there is no escape, only the clean cut of the kill line. Our Sigma Wolf alpha male's eyes scream terror as Gong-Kei's rose-themed aura blooms in the darkness. It's beautiful, and it's deadly. The guillotine falls, but the rose remains. This is the true nature of her power-elegant destruction. A barrage of fists follows, each one hitting with the weight of her absolute authority. It's overkill, and it's glorious. The illusion shatters like glass. Gong-Kei's kill line has officially broken our boy's reality. Back to the real world. Yihi is stunned, staring at the woman who just destroyed his mind and his body. He's on his knees, clutching his head as the weight of the lesson sinks in. Gong-Kei stands over him. Her job done. Wait, what? From a stone-cold killer to a crying mess in seconds, Gong-Kei is begging him not to leave. She explains the secret of the kill line. Everything has a point of entry, a line that can be severed if you have the vision to see it. No matter the monster, there's always a line that can be severed. Gong-Kei's lesson is clear. If you can see it, you can kill it. The mental execution is over, and they're back to being just a teacher and her student. But as she chugs her soda, she's ready to unlock the true secret, seeing the world from the inside out. Inner vision is the gatekeeper. See your own spirit, and you see the universe, or at least the part that's about to get much stronger. Forget skin and muscle. Real power comes from reinforcing your organs and meridians with martial energy until you're a human tank. Silence. No breath. Gong-Kei's lessons aren't just hard. They're a descent into a hell where only the strong can find their voice. 3 months in the dark. Yihi is done playing the role of the weak undergrad. It's time for the monsters to unite. Breakthrough. The transformation isn't just physical, it's a structural reset of his entire existence. The world has its ranks, Tiangang, Disha, Xuanhuang, but Yihi is starting to see that those labels are just targets for him to destroy. Gong-Kei is pleased. Her student didn't just survive, he thrived in the hell she built for him. The Killer's Bodhi Heart Sutra. It's an advancement technique that turns every heartbeat into a weapon. Pure, unadulterated intent. Yihi is no longer just a student. He's a living epicenter of slaughter. Welcome back to the surface. Huadu City looks the same, but the predator walking its streets has completely evolved. 3 months in seclusion, and our boy walks out with an aura that makes the air itself feel heavy. Liu Qingju sees him and immediately knows. This isn't the same guy she talked to before he went under. One strike. That's all it takes when you can see the kill line of every living thing in your path. His blade doesn't just cut flesh, it severs the very concept of resistance. That's the power of the Disha level. Surprise, fear, respect. Everyone around him can feel the shift, whether they want to admit it or not. He's a man standing on a mountain of the weak. His path to the top is paved with the bones of those who underestimated him. The beast is awake, and even his mentor, Gongke, can see the monster she's unleashed on the world. Back in the dorm. A clean room for a man with a mind filled with nothing but the cold science of killing. Even a monster needs a bath. But don't let the rubber duck fool you. This is just the calm before the next storm. A call from Liu Qingju. In this world of violence, she's one of the few voices that still sounds human to him. Liu Qingju is curious about his progress, unaware that her friend has just crossed a line he can never come back from. Relaxed? Maybe. But her eyes say she's ready for whatever chaos our boy is about to drag her into next. Enter Ouyang and his Dragon Blood Society. They think they own this campus, preaching about destiny and high-class bloodlines. Tough guys, tattoos, and high ranks. They're the elite of Huadu, and they've yet to meet a real predator. But there's a new face in the crowd. A shadow with green energy, and a skull-like grin that's hungry for a challenge. Gongke doesn't do gentle training. She uses her student as a literal footstool, pumping her concentrated martial energy directly into his spine to rebuild him from the inside out. She's a master of the kill line, and right now, she's teaching Yihi how to survive on the edge of death, until he becomes a monster himself. The pain is absolute. Yihi's body is being ripped apart and put back together in a cycle of evolution that would break any normal human's mind. But in the heart of that explosion of power, something new is born. A warrior who has finally stepped past the limits of a simple disciple. 3 months of hell, and the result is undeniable. Our boy emerges with a body sculpted for war and an aura that screams pure, refined strength. Even the legendary Gongke can't help but admire her masterpiece. She wanted a monster, and she got exactly what she asked for. Training is over. Yihi turns his back on the basement B3, ready to take this power to the surface and see what the world is really made of. But beneath the tough teacher act, Gongke is just a lonely soul who hasn't had a friend in 30 years. Seeing him leave is breaking her heart. Yihi doesn't look back, but that smile says he'll never forget the woman who turned him into a god among men. Back in the city, the air feels different. To everyone else, it's just another day in Huadu, but to our boy, it's a new hunting ground. His eyes are locked onto his targets. The martial artist stage is just the beginning. There are bigger prey out there waiting to be found. He makes his grand entrance at the activity center, and there's a familiar face waiting for him in the distance. Long time no see, Chuzhou. The predator has returned, and Huadu University is about to find out exactly what they've been breeding in the dark. Our Alpha Bro and his team are back at the Huadu mission base, eyeing their next move. The air is thick with ambition and the scent of danger. Tier 2 missions, psychopathic killers, beast tides, boring. Our boy Yihi is looking for something that actually pushes his limits. Luckily, Gongke left him a little something, a privilege card. In this world, knowing the right people is just as important as knowing how to swing a blade. Chuzhou and Liu Qingju are hesitant, but Yihi knows exactly what he's doing. He's not here to play safe, he's here to evolve. The subject changes, the target is locked, and Yihi's smirk says it all. Lingshui County, here they come. Chuzhou and Liu Qingju are in. They might not know the chaos they're walking into, but they trust their leader. The receptionist's jaw hits the floor. A tier 3 mission for a bunch of freshmen? That's practically a death warrant. But then her bro flashes the card. Suddenly, the rules don't apply, and the impossible becomes a VIP experience. Her attitude flips 180 degrees faster than a speedster on stimulants. That's the power of high-level connections in the academy. Before heading out, there's one stop to make. The academy's foundry, a place where legendary steel is born from dragonfire. Our Alpha Bro walks into the heart of the forge. He's not here for a standard issue blade. He's here for something special. Behold, the Starfall Gold, a custom-forged beast of a blade, designed to channel 95% of its user's energy. It's not just a weapon, it's a masterpiece. The moment Yihi grips the hilt, the energy resonates. This blade was made for a monster like him. One swing. Pure power. The air screams as the Starfall Gold cuts through the atmosphere like a hot knife through butter. The Foundry's dean watches with approval. He knows a true warrior when he sees one, and Yihi just passed the test. Weapon in hand and crew at his side, it's time to test this new steel. Lingshui is about to have a very bad day. Lingshui County. Quiet, eerie, and smells like a trap, just the way Yihi likes it. The team arrives under the guise of interns. Little do the locals know, they've just invited 3 apex predators into their backyard. Chuzhou is on edge. The silence here isn't peaceful. It's unnatural. Every shadow feels like a hidden blade. Even the local driver feels off. Our bro's life field sensing is screaming that this guy is more than just a simple laborer. They enter their assigned base, a crumbling house that feels more like a tomb than a shelter. Man, the academy really cheaped out on the budget this time. Liu Qingju stops dead. Her eyes widen as she feels a sudden, chilling spike in the room's energy. Something is definitely wrong. A Buddha statue, sitting in the center of the decay. But look closer, it's bleeding a thick, black substance. This isn't divine, it's demonic. Chuzhou draws his blade as the air turns toxic. This isn't just a creepy house, it's a spiritual ambush right in their own living room. Yihi's eyes ignite with a cold, blue fire, stripping away the lie. He's already found the rot beneath the surface, and it's far more twisted than a simple statue. Revealed. That divine statue was nothing more than a mask for a disgusting, tentacled nightmare. Our alpha bro snaps Liu Qingju back to reality. There's no time for a mental breakdown when death is literally in the room. One draw. That's all it takes for the Starfall Gold to start singing its song of pure destruction. The team realizes they've just kicked a hornet's nest made of spiritual corruption and nightmare fuel. The holy facade melts away, leaving behind a bubbling, black sludge of pure malice. It's go time. Yihi summons the world template, and the aura alone is enough to crush the weak. Thorns and fists, a beautiful combination for smashing these ghostly skulls back into oblivion. Clean sweep. These shadows never stood a chance against an apex predator of this caliber. Liu Qingju is paralyzed. The spiritual backlash of that thing was more than her mind could handle. Relax, little sparrow. Yihi's energy cuts through the mental trauma like a hot knife through ice. Jinshan Temple, the supposed holy ground that looks more like a high-tech fortress for a dark god. A smiling monk greets them, but we've read enough manhwa to know exactly what's behind that fake mask. Behold, the mechanical bodhisattvas, giant, high-tech guardians protecting the gates of a secret empire. The driver and the monk, a tag team of deception that's about to get a very rude awakening. Yihi isn't impressed. He's already calculated exactly how many slashes it'll take to drop these piles of junk. Red eyes and iron wills the guardians wake up, and they aren't here to offer tea and biscuits. Cold metal meets the heat of a righteous slaughter as the statues prepare to strike. The world manifests to block the blow. It's a clash of titans, and Yihi isn't even breaking a sweat. The ground trembles as mechanical divinity tries to crush human arrogance into the dirt. Surrounded by giants? Please. For our alpha bro, this is just a target-rich environment. The Starfall Gold Blade catches the light, ready to taste some high-tech oil for the first time. Gravity is just a suggestion when you're moving at the speed of an apex predator. Lasers? Explosions? This isn't a temple, it's a war zone, and Yihi is the only one winning. Mechanical precision is a joke when faced with the raw, unadulterated power of an evolving monster. Yihi is about to show these holy robots why you never bring technology to a supernatural slaughter. The driver starts praying, but his cries are drowned out as the lasers and Starfall energy collide in a massive explosion. In a split second, the holy sanctuary is transformed into a landscape of burning wreckage. Look at this absolute carnage. These high-tech guardians are nothing but scrap metal now, and anyone caught in the crossfire is just collateral damage. Our bro isn't done yet. He points toward the heart of the temple, commanding the world to finish the job once and for all. One punch is all it takes to shatter the final barrier. The hidden truth is about to be dragged into the light, whether it likes it or not. Deep within the temple, a massive golden Buddha looms. It looks holy, but in a place like this, beauty is usually just a gilded cage for something far more sinister. Yihi stands before the colossal icon, completely unimpressed. He's seen gods before, and he's only here to see if this one bleeds. The sound of footsteps echoes through the ruins. Someone has been watching from the shadows this whole time, waiting for the perfect moment to strike. The monk returns, looking calm and holy while standing amidst the wreckage of his own traps. It's time for the final showdown, the player versus the mastermind. Check out this hunk of junk, the Mecha Buddha. Laserbird really thought a giant golden robot could stop our boy? Our boy's got that look in his eyes again. You know, the one that says, I'm about to ruin this man's whole career. But first, we've got a pest problem. Thousands of lizardman bio-androids are swarming in like it's a sale at the mall. Yihi isn't just fighting. He's dancing through the chaos, and every step ends in a funeral. The facility is literally falling apart. He's not just breaking doors, he's breaking the physics of this entire base. He slams his hand down, and you can feel the impact through the screen. This isn't a battle, it's a statement. He finally reaches the temple area. Dark, spooky, and filled with the scent of impending doom. The corporation really sent a whole army of Tier 1 fodder. It's like they're trying to drown him in bodies. It's a classic Zerg rush strategy. Throw enough cheap units at him and hope he gets tired. Spoiler, he doesn't. He dives into the thick of it. Most people would run, but Yi is just looking for the best angle to kill everyone. Time for a cleanup. Xuan Huang Blade Art, cull 1,000 leaves. Get ready for some fireworks. A massive wave of energy rips through the room, turning an elite army into expensive scrap metal. Green blood, mechanical parts, and lizard guts everywhere. Just another Tuesday for our protagonist. That smug grin. He's having way too much fun. He's not a hero. He's the ultimate predator. He stands atop a literal mountain of the dead. If this doesn't scream King of Monsters, I don't know what does. But the Mecha Buddha isn't done. It starts crying this creepy black oil, and the energy in the room shifts. Yi just reaches out like, come on then, big guy. Show me what you've got. The pilot is talking big, thinking they finally provoked the wrong person. Oh, the irony. The golden giant roars to life, launching a barrage of missiles and lasers aimed at our hero. Behold, the pinnacle of Laserbird's tech, a machine built to kill lords. Too bad our boy is something much worse. A giant golden fist comes crashing down with enough power to end the world. Does he flinch? Nope. Our glorious alpha male MC's eyes light up with blue lightning as he tells the giant to bring it on. The fist is centimeters away, a golden wall of absolute destruction closing in on him. The pilot's arrogance vanishes in a heartbeat. Looking into our glorious alpha male MC's eyes, he realizes he didn't just provoke a man, he invited a god-tier disaster. The Godzilla template erupts, and the unfair power shift is absolute. The Golden Hunter has officially become the prey, and the real slaughter is about to start. Yi launches a glowing blue punch. Namo? More like, no more for this robot. He slams into the Mecha Buddha, locking his monster jaws around its golden arm. A massive blue-clawed hand sweeps through the air, vibrating with pure power. He grips the golden head, ready to tear this fake god down to the ground. I'm not done yet! Our boy's eyes glow with a feral, terrifying hunger. He delivers a jet black, iron-hard knee right into the machine's face. Ouch. The Mecha Buddha's internal circuits are exposed. It's falling apart at the seams. But the machine has one last trick, charging up its prayer bead missiles for a final stand. It looks like a high-tech nightmare, firing every beam and missile it has left. Boom! The explosion covers the entire chamber, but a monster is still lurking in the smoke. Through the debris, the King of Monsters emerges, with its jaws wide open, blue energy surging. The Mecha Buddha tries to impale him with meteor personification spikes. Desperate move. Too slow! Our boy lets out his ultimate move, the atomic breath. Say goodbye to the budget. He lands among the wreckage, steam rising from his body like a true apex predator. Yi stands over a massive crater, looking down at the scrap metal that used to be a threat. In a control room, Dr. Feng, a weary-looking scientist in a lab coat, watches the carnage in shock. Meet the man who thought he could control a king. He and his partner can't believe their Lord-class killer just got turned into trash. Dr. Feng is screaming now, his intellectual calm completely shattered by Yi's raw power. Every screen in the base shows the same thing. The Mecha Buddha is officially history. The two scientists realize they aren't safe anymore. The predator has found its way home. Dr. Feng's face is a mask of pure terror as he realizes his life's work is about to be erased. The guards should buy us a few minutes, they tell themselves. Narrator, they were wrong. Dr. Feng has a mechanical eye, and right now, it's twitching with pure, unadulterated fear. The mask is off. The Divine Descent cult replaced every monk at Jinshan Temple, using faith as a front to brainwash and control the entire county. This isn't just science. It's a sick ritual turning people into bio-android lizardmen. And Yi is coming to tear this whole operation down personally. The monitoring screens explode as Yaihi's energy wipes out the room. He's tired of being watched by these lab rats. He drops in from the ceiling like a dark god. The scientists finally realize they've locked themselves in with the apex predator. Armed guards rush in, but let's be real, bringing guns to a King of Monsters fight? That's just cute. One flick of his wrist and the room is cleared. Pure lightning, pure overkill, and zero effort. Dr. Feng, the big shot scientist, starts begging for a chat. But our boy doesn't do negotiations with prey. Thinking he's sneaky, the doctor reaches for a panic button. Too bad our boy is faster than a camera shutter. No more games. Yi grabs him by the throat, and you can practically hear the man's ego shatter into pieces. He's not killing him. He's times owning, times him. A terrifying new power is surging through Dr. Feng, rewriting his very soul. Look at that mechanical eye. It's short-circuiting as the ancestral power takes root. The doctor is no longer in control. Dr. Feng is witnessing the end of his world as Yihee's monster essence floods his consciousness. He can't even scream. The transformation is complete. The scientist's will has been completely overwritten by his new master. Doctor. Feng wakes up as a retainer, a loyal slave who can never betray the king of monsters. Talk about a job promotion. One second he was a proud mad scientist, the next he's kneeling before a boy half his age. Yihee's power is just unfair. Yihee takes a seat, watching his new servant with a cold, calculating gaze. Time to get some answers. Behind him, the shadow of his monstrous template looms a red, demonic reminder of what he really is. This is the heart of the experiment. Dark, thorny, and pulsing with a life that shouldn't exist. Absolute body horror. Dr. Feng is finally useful, spilling every dirty secret Laserbird and the Divine Descent cult have been hiding. Yihee just listens with that smug grin. He knows he's about to burn their entire cult down to the ashes. The retainer's eyes are glowing blue, now a permanent mark of his new allegiance to the monster. And here comes the nightmare. The cult isn't just killing people, they're rotting them from the inside out to make monsters. A plate of human meat. This wasn't a holy temple, it was a high-tech buffet of cannibalistic horrors. The cult replaced every monk at Jinshan Temple and turned the whole town into a literal slaughterhouse for their demon fetuses. Faith used as a weapon for brainwashing. It's sick, it's twisted, and it's why our boy is going to enjoy destroying them. Every victim is branded like cattle, just a serial number, in a sick game where evolution is bought with human blood. But don't think for a second that this branding is the worst of it. Our boy is about to unlock the data that reveals just how grotesque their research truly gets. These glowing lab rats are just the tip of the iceberg. The experiments at this temple go way deeper than a few rodents. Behold, the manifestation of the cult's influence, a mass of eyes and tentacles that would make Lovecraft sweat. Yihee doesn't even need to move. One look with those lightning-filled eyes, and the Mad Doctor knows exactly who's in charge. Dr. Feng is back at his desk, but this time he's working for a new boss, a much scarier one. The corruption of the Divine Descent Nation is a literal infection, twisting both mind and soul into something unrecognizable. These aren't people anymore. They're hollow shells, screaming in a digital purple hellscape of their own making. The town of Lingshui has become a feeding ground. Thousands of devotees turned into mindless monsters for the cult's amusement. The townspeople are falling like flies as the cult's influence tightens its grip. It's a total horror show. The name on everyone's lips. Divine Descent Nation. The cult that turned a holy site into a slaughterhouse. And here it is, the demon fetus, the prize they're all sacrificing their humanity to grow. It's pulsing with pure malice. Remember the simple townfolk? Yeah, they're either dinner or part of the army now. No in-between for the innocent. Yihee's got that look. You know, the one where he's already planned your funeral and he's just waiting for the check to clear. Dr. Feng has officially traded his scientific pride for his life. Bowing to the king of monsters is his only chance to survive. He's digging into the golden gene data. Laserbird thought they were playing God, but they were just building a throne for Yihee. Mission accomplished. But for Yihee, the real game is only just beginning. The prompt says task complete, but the war is just starting. That smile. Those teeth. He's having way too much fun with this. He isn't just a monster. He's a god in the making. The doctor is losing his mind. Seeing the pure, unfiltered strength of an awakened monster will do that to your sanity. He stands among the shadows of the fallen, a king of the dead, leading an army of ghosts against the living. Our boy regroups with the team. But the things they've seen in this town, it's not something you just shake off. Liu Qingzhu looks like she's about to lose her lunch. Discovering that the local fresh meat was actually local neighbors tends to do that. Pin Shuzhou and the rest are shaken. They thought this was a simple Tier 3 mission, not a descent into literal cannibalistic madness. The horror is settling in. This isn't just a corporation. It's a death cult with a massive budget and no morals. But Yihee isn't scared. He's excited. He's finally found a challenge worth his time and effort. He tells them to lock it in. If the world is going to hell, he's going to be the one holding the leash. Meanwhile, the bigwigs at Laserbird are having an emergency meeting. They know something is coming, and it's hungry for their heads. The underground base is going up in smoke. Yihee doesn't do subtle raids, he does extinction-level events. Yihee is making sure Dr. Feng knows exactly who the new boss is, A little bit of monster essence goes a long way in securing absolute loyalty. Ling Shui, a town of legends, deep faith, and a literal hell on earth. Welcome to the main event, folks. The train pulls in, and it's not carrying tourists. Laserbird's assassination team #3 has officially landed in this nightmare. First up, meet Catfish. Don't let the name fool you. He's the kind of guy who'd sell his own soul for a laugh and a quick buck. He's got his gear, he's got his target, and he's definitely got zero morals. Just a professional doing professional things. Then there's Ares. Bringing a baby to an assassination mission? That's some top-tier Manhwa madness right there. And finally, Bluebird, the scout of the team, looking for an easy lead in this creepy, quiet town. Bad move. The whole squad is gathered, ready to clean up the mess he made. They really think they're the predators here. Cute. The town is full of souvenirs like this. Remnants of a faith that went horribly wrong, and a biology that's even worse. Bluebird decide to poke her nose where it doesn't belong. In this town, curiosity doesn't just kill the cat, it turns it into a puppet. She finds a hidden shrine with a hooded statue. It looks innocent, but in this world, innocent is just a synonym for death trap. One look is all it takes. The idol's power floods her mind, turning her eyes a demonic purple. Bluebird has officially left the building. Outside, the town is waking up. Thousands of brainwashed followers are wandering the streets like zombies on a divine mission. This poor guy is watching his neighbors turn into mindless monsters. He should probably start running like 5 minutes ago. Too late! Bluebird strikes from the shadows, stabbing her own teammate without a single shred of remorse. The cult comes first. Posed, cold, and utterly terrifying. The divine descent doesn't care about your team loyalty or your corporate paycheck. As he bleeds out, he sees the terrible truth. The tiny statue on the wall is the one holding the leash of this entire town. The idol glows with a sickening purple light. The demon fetus is calling, and everyone is answering the phone. Under a massive moon, the ritual reaches its peak. A lonely figure stands at the top of the tower, watching the world burn. But don't lose hope yet, our boy Yihi is finally on the scene, and he's definitely not happy about the competition. The cult has already prepared the sacrifices. 2 people tied up like cattle, waiting for a dark blessing they never asked for. The crowd is laughing. No jokes in sight, just pure, unadulterated madness and glowing purple eyes. Creepy. Talk about neighborly love. These guys are terrified, knowing their own friends just handed them over for the slaughter. And that moonlight, it's only making things creepier. The mob is closing in, driven by a cult hunger that science just can't touch. But before the first drop of blood hits the ground, you've got to look up. Because that sky is about to change everything. That moon is massive. It's not just a sky decoration, it's a beacon for the madness about to unfold. The townspeople are literally climbing over each other, laughing like maniacs as they form a mountain of flesh. This is what happens when a cult gets a budget, a biological pillar reaching for the sky. It's disgusting, it's epic, and it's definitely not on the Ling Shui tourist brochure. 2 massive pillars of light descend from the moon, connecting with the human mountain. The ritual is entering the final stage. Black Lion is on the phone with HQ, and you can tell he's sweating buckets. He realizes they've walked into a trap far bigger than a Lord-class monster. Look at his face. He knows he's screwed. Catfish and Ares are staring up in shock, their professional cool completely melted away. Against the blinding light of the moon, the Laserbird squad looks tiny. The power of the divine descent is just unfair at this point. Ares clutches her baby, her eyes wide with terror. Even a high-tier assassin has limits, and this town just crossed all of them. The beam hits the town center. Black Lion screams for them to quit the nonsense, but the nonsense is about to kill them all. The mob is running up the stairs, drawn to the light like moths to a demonic flame. They aren't people anymore, they're components of a ritual. Surprise strike? A blue umbrella cuts through the air, and a razor-sharp blade extends from the tip with a deadly hum. A single umbrella blocks the light, casting a shadow over the battlefield. Someone has arrived to crash this party. Black Lion tries to keep his composure, adjusting his glasses, but you can see his hand trembling. Who is this girl? The umbrella isn't just a shield, it's a weapon of absolute destruction, glowing with a power that rivals the cult's own magic. Behold, Liu Qingju, little Juju. With those glowing purple eyes and that dark aura, she looks more like a goddess of death than a martial artist. Black Lion lets out a twisted, ecstatic grin. He's either completely lost his mind, or he's found exactly the kind of monster he's been looking for. Until next time, stay hooked. Yihi and Liu Qingzu aren't here for a friendly chat. They're here to dismantle the Laserbird squad piece by piece. Catfish thinks he can intimidate them with a shout, but he's about to find out how outmatched he really is. Before the fat guy can even finish his sentence, Yi-hee shuts him up with a move that's too fast for the naked eye. Massive ice spikes erupt from the ground, turning the battlefield into a frozen graveyard in an instant. But Black Lion isn't a top assassin for nothing. He shatters the ice prison like it's made of glass. The standoff begins. A girl with a sword, a creep with a knife, and a monster in human skin. Black Lion lunges forward with lethal precision, determined to end this quickly. They trade blows at a speed that would make your head spin, each strike meant to be a killing blow. Suddenly, the area is flooded with clones. Black Lion is pulling out all the stops to overwhelm his target. Surrounded? Outnumbered? To Yi-hee, this is just another Tuesday in his path to the top. Our glorious alpha male MC's bodyguarding chi is on another level. Tank shells couldn't crack this, let alone a few knives. He moves like a lightning bolt, cutting through the illusions as if they were nothing but smoke. When you see that glow in his eyes, you know the fun is over and the real nightmare is starting. He manifests a spear of pure blood energy, and the sheer pressure in the air begins to crush bone. A direct hit to the head. Black Lion's elite training meant nothing against overwhelming, brutal force. The legendary assassin falls like a sack of bricks. But for our boy, death is just the first step. He doesn't just kill his enemies, he claims them, and he's doing it with a cold, terrifying smile. Breaking through to stage 8, right over a fresh corpse? That's peak MC energy right there. Aries and Catfish realize they aren't fighting a hero, they're fighting the devil himself. Our boy activates his forbidden skill, Flesh Prison Blood Fiend Marionette. This is about to get messy. Black Lion's body twists and mutates, turning into a horrific skeletal puppet that obeys only our boy. Aries is terrified, clutching her baby like a shield. She's starting to realize there's no escape. In a move of pure desperation, she tosses the child into the air just to distract them for a few seconds. A hulking, mutated beast tears its way out of the ritual grounds, a nightmare born of blood that even a god would fear. Catfish and Aries vanish into the night, leaving the stage to the only 3 entities that truly matter in this chaotic ritual. 3 faces, 3 fates. While Liu Qingzu and Yi-hee stand firm, the marionette version of Black Lion is nothing more than a mindless tool in this chaotic ritual. Yi-hee taps into a power that shouldn't belong to a mortal. The Azure Dragon's spirit roars behind him, turning the air itself into a weapon. He lunges straight for the heart of the nightmare. The god fetus might be a divine threat, but Yi-hee doesn't believe in gods he can't kill. Ice and energy collide in a blinding flash. The monster's fleshy exterior stands no chance against a concentrated blast of pure killing intent. The beast roars, its red muscles bulging as it tries to crush everything in its path. But brute strength is useless when you can't even touch your opponent. Yi-hee dances around the multiple maws of the god fetus, delivering strikes that cut deeper than any physical blade. This isn't a fight, it's an execution. Lightning cracks through the monster's hide. Every strike from Yi-hee is perfectly calculated to dismantle the ritual's core from the inside out. The marionette clones dive in, swarming the giant beast like a plague. Yi-hee is using the enemy's own fallen leader to tear down their false god. A red aura flares, and our boy delivers a final, bone-chilling slash. The god fetus is being ripped apart, but the real show is just about to begin. Liu Qingju steps up, her eyes glowing with a terrifying purple light. She's not just here for backup, she's the one who's going to end this. A massive surge of purple energy erupts, creating a dome of destruction that consumes everything it touches. The power scaling here is just getting ridiculous. The monster's scream is drowned out by the roar of the energy blast. It's being disintegrated at a molecular level, and there's nowhere left to hide. The shockwave levels, the ritual grounds, sending a beam of pure annihilation straight into the sky. Talk about a grand finale. Beneath the city, the stench of failure is worse than the sewage. This tunnel is the only thing standing between the survivors and our boy's wrath. Catfish is panting, splashing through the muck in a desperate attempt to flee. He thought he was a hunter, but now he knows exactly how it feels to be the prey. Suddenly, a beam of light punches through the ceiling, turning the dark sewer into a stage for his final moments. No one escapes that easily. Aries is running blind, her composure completely shattered. She's seeing ghosts in every shadow, and for once, she's right to be afraid. Another blast hits the ground just inches away. The heavens themselves seem to be hunting her down as the ritual spirals out of control. She stops, trembling, the realization finally sinking in. She's not just a cultist anymore. She's an ant about to be stepped on. She prays to a god that isn't listening, begging for a miracle that will never come. In this world, only the strong survive, and she just isn't strong enough. The moon landing beam intensifies, a pillar of light connecting the earth to a nightmare entity. The cult's true master is finally showing its face. Ares grits her teeth, her fear turning into a cold, desperate rage. She has one last card to play, but it's a gamble that might cost her everything. Look at this. A Thapsak Nui, a literal tower of human bodies sacrifice. The scale of this cult's madness is finally revealed in all its grisly glory. Our boy walks away from the carnage, his blade still humming with energy. He's finished his part, but the true scope of this nightmare is only just coming into view. Ares collapses among the victims she helped create, a tiny speck compared to the grotesque monument rising above her toward the lunar light, a literal tower of human bodies reaching for the moon. If you ever wondered how insane this cult is, here's your answer. That ornate gate in the sky isn't a welcome sign. It's a doorway to a nightmare that's about to swallow the world. Ares is crying tears of joy as she's bathed in celestial light. She really thinks she's ascending, doesn't she? Poor girl. A pillar of light punches through the atmosphere, and the ritual finally enters its endgame. The city is officially out of time. Walking through a sea of silhouettes toward a blinding gate, Ares really thinks she's the main character of this tragedy. Yihi looks into the camera with those glowing purple eyes. He's not a hero. He's just the biggest monster in the room. Silhouette against the moon? Check. Massive sword? Check. Yihi is the definition of main character energy. He watches the ritual unfold with the casual interest of a man watching paint dry. It's almost insulting to the gods. Pulling out his phone while the world is literally ending, he's probably just checking to see if his power level went up. That grin is the last thing many people see. And honestly, it's a pretty cool way to go out. The ground is littered with the corpses of those who failed the ritual. To Yihi, they're just more fuel for his breakthrough. The dream team is back. Yihi, Chuzhou, and Liu Qingju aren't here to negotiate. They're here to dominate. Yihi flares his aura, and the air gets heavy enough to crush the lungs of anyone standing too close. Out of the shadows, the blood fiend marionettes rise. He's literally making his enemies work for him even after they're dead. Chuzhou doesn't do gentle. He turns the battlefield into a red smear with every swing of his blade. Liu Qingju is a blur of speed and precision. She makes saving the world look like a walk in the park. A cold, focused stare. Yihi has already seen the end of this fight before it even truly began. Liu Qingju actually smiles. It's nice to see someone's having fun during a divine apocalypse. Talking to a subordinate while the world burns. Priorities are important after all. A massive pit of corpses. This is what the cult calls a sacred offering. I call it a health hazard. A giant, lightning-infused skeleton monster? Now we're talking. This is a real boss fight. It opens its ribs to reveal a pulsing heart. That's not a weak spot. It's a giant hit me sign. An endless horde of monsters with green eyes. To Yihi, this isn't a threat. It's an all-you-can-eat buffet. The vampire soldiers are lunging from the shadows, but they're about to learn that Yihi doesn't have a mercy button. While Dr. Feng frantically analyzes the data on his laptop, the corruption starts to spread, casting a dark shadow over the streets of Linshui County. Night falls over Linshui County, but there's no peace here. Only a swarm of glowing red pests heralding the cult's arrival. From the smoke, a massive yellow mecha rises. Humanity's steel shield against the coming nightmare. Yihi knows the real battle is just beginning, and he's more than ready to crash their little ritual. On the highway, buses speed toward the ritual site, carrying a cargo of pure, unadulterated madness. Inside, the seats are filled with hooded zealots, their silence more terrifying than any scream. Leading them is Lin Qi, Bishop, a man whose gaze promises only a world built on suffering and fanaticism. They've brought a horrific relic, a pulsing, multi-eyed artifact that hungers for the living. The cultists stand united in their insanity, their devotion as sharp and cold as a sacrificial blade. Lin Qi, Bishop, speaks of salvation, his eyes glowing with a purple light that signals the end of reason. They raise their hands in a twisted prayer, ready to sacrifice everything for a god that doesn't care. Even the moon seems to join in the madness, its craters forming a mocking, skeletal face in the sky. Lin Qi, Bishop, gazes at his creation, the human tower, reaching toward the celestial nightmare. He's completely lost it, grinning like a man who's finally found his purpose in the world's destruction. Blood is the only currency here, and the price for their god is about to be paid in full. A red crystalline star pulses with dark energy, the beating heart of their apocalyptic ritual. The ritual circle is primed, a spiderweb of red energy ready to snare the souls of the innocent. An ornate glowing gate materializes the threshold between our world and the heavenly kingdom's hell. A hand slams down, sealing the pact in crimson as the gateway begins to pull at reality. One lone zealot walks toward the blinding light, eager to transcend their humanity at any cost. The path to the god fetus is guarded by a floating coffin and a swarm of writhing purple tentacles. But even the cultists feel the air shift something is coming that they didn't account for. Lin Chi, bishop, hauls the sacred coffin up the mountain of flesh, a mad king on a throne of corpses. Energy spirals toward the center of the slaughter as the ritual enters its final, most violent stage. Lin Chi, bishop, bellows as the celestial power takes hold, and the red star trembles on the verge of a violent eruption. In a blinding flash of agony, souls are violently torn from their shells, their final, silent screams beginning to echo as the ritual reaches its peak. The screams of 1,000 souls are nothing but background music for this horrific ritual. The human tower reaches for the moon, a monument of flesh built on pure, unadulterated insanity. Blue energy pulses through the sacrificial site as the god fetus prepares to awaken in a world that isn't ready for it. Lin Chi, bishop, screams at the heavens, his fanatical devotion finally reaching its boiling point. But the party's about to be crashed by someone who doesn't believe in gods, only in results. Our boy stares down the madness and asks the only question that matters. In this situation, can't you tell who I am? He doesn't wait for an answer, unleashing a slash that paints the moon in a shade of violent red. Reality itself seems to buckle and tear under the sheer weight of our glorious alpha male MC's killing intent. The death knell rings for the cultists, heralding the end of their twisted heavenly kingdom. One by one, the elite fall, their lives extinguished like candles in a hurricane. Lin Chi, bishop, hides behind his grand robes, still desperately clinging to the delusion that he's in control. Look at that smug grin. He has absolutely no idea that he's already a dead man walking. Yihi lunges through the air like a shadow coming to swallow the light once and for all. His aura flares, purple and black energy twisting into a crown of thorns around his target. From the carnage, a true monster emerges. Don't call him a hero before this cult. He is the devil. The bishop's arrogance finally shatters, replaced by a cold, paralyzing sense of dread. Blue lightning cracks across the ritual grounds, a divine punishment delivered by a very unholy source. A skeletal maw of pure energy opens wide, ready to consume everything the cult has spent years building. Lin Chi bishop realizes too late that he didn't summon a god, he just invited his executioner. The very fabric of the ritual is being devoured, the stolen energy flowing toward a new master. The entire sacrificial site begins to crumble as the false kingdom collapses under its own weight. Lin Chi, bishop, is left broken and exposed, his grand robe staining with the blood of his failed dreams. His body can't handle the backlash, the ritual's power literally tearing him apart from the inside out. Lin Chi collapses, nothing more than a hollow shell and a pathetic remnant of a madman who thought he could play God. Yihi surveys the destruction with cold blue eyes, already looking past the fallen bishop toward the remaining trash he has yet to sweep away. Yihi stands alone against the remaining cultists, but the power dynamic has already shifted. He's no longer just a target, he's the apocalypse in a black shirt. Desperation drives the cultists into a final, bloody frenzy as they raise their red daggers, screaming for a god that has already been replaced. One move is all it takes to leave the ritual floor soaked in crimson. The devil has arrived, and he doesn't do mercy. Out of the polluted energy of the god fetus, a massive horn silhouette begins to rise, looming over the carnage. Witness the birth of Basmuth, Moon Demon, a towering nightmare of eyes and horns. This is what happens when you let our glorious alpha male Mexil play with your divine artifacts. Yihi looks on with that chilling smirk, his eyes glowing with the triumph of a man who just stole a god's power. The real show is just beginning. The nightmare has arrived. These aren't just monsters, they're heralds of a god-tier apocalypse. Basmuth is descending, and his presence alone is turning reality into a literal hellscape. It's pure carnage. Liu Qingju is struggling just to stay alive in this madness. Liu Qingju is at her breaking point, bloodied and cornered, with nowhere left to run. The cult thinks they've won. They think they've finally cornered the prey. They couldn't be more wrong. Surprise! Yihi is back, and he just crashed the party with zero mercy. The atmosphere just shifted. The predator has finally opened his eyes, and he's hungry. Look at that gaze. Yihi isn't playing around anymore. He's about to break the game. He actually did it. Stealing 5 points of divinity from a god? This guy is absolutely insane. It's evolution time. The Rakude template is transforming into something the world isn't ready for. Enter the Moon Demon. This isn't just a power-up, it's a complete shift in the food chain. Yi just pulled out a weapon that screams overkill, and honestly, I'm here for it. Reality is fracturing. When the god speaks of illusions, Yi is the only one seeing the truth. He's locked in. This is the face of someone who knows he's about to become a legend. In a flash of violent light, the battlefield turns into a slaughterhouse. Yi is taking names. One man against an entire army? Those are the kind of odds Yi thrives on. Lin Chi is terrified. He realized too late that he didn't summon a god, he woke up a monster. The time for small talk is over. The heavy hitters are finally stepping onto the field. Fire and ice collide as the battle reaches a level that defies human comprehension. Total destruction. Every strike from our boy is a masterpiece of pure, unadulterated violence. Nothing is left standing. This is what happens when you cross the wrong person. Behold the national grandmaster, Azure Dragon, Yi Shu. He just showed up to show everyone how it's really done. One strike. That's all it took for Azure Dragon Yi Shu to erase the entire threat. Talk about a power gap. Yi is standing there like a statue, completely floored by the power gap. This isn't just a step up, it's a whole different dimension of strength. An entire district, deleted from existence in a single breath. But don't blink, the very atmosphere is beginning to tear itself apart from the sheer pressure. The sky itself is being torn apart as the residual energy from Azure Dragon's strike obliterates everything in sight. This isn't just a battle anymore, it's a total erasure of the cult's existence. A crimson streak cuts through the chaos, a lethal projectile signaling that the backup has finally arrived to clean house. Chuzhou hits the ground hard, the sheer pressure of the descending god energy forcing even the best to their knees. Even a prodigy has limits when the world starts falling apart. Enter Dr. Fang, Mad Doctor, locked and loaded with a sniper rifle that looks like it belongs in a sci-fi nightmare. When the martial arts aren't enough, it's time to bring in the big guns. The shadow of Basmuth looms large, a cosmic horror stretching its influence across the sky as the system begins to scream warnings. This is the kind of scale that makes ordinary mortals lose their minds. Dr. Feng, Mad Doctor, isn't just a sniper. He's a one-man air force, deploying a swarm of drones to map out every single target. No one hides from the eye in the sky. Yi stands his ground against the bishop, Lin Qing, while Liu Qingzhu dominates the airspace with her newly awakened wings. The balance of power is shifting, and the cult is starting to feel the chill of death. Massive stone slabs drop from the heavens like divine tombstones, crushing the landscape under their impossible weight. It's raining coffins, and they aren't empty. Out of the darkness emerge the moon demons, monstrous entities born from Basmuth's corrupted divinity. These aren't just lackeys, they're the cult's final, desperate gamble. The bishop, Lin Chi, has completely snapped, his laughter echoing across the battlefield as he embraces the madness of his dying god. There's no coming back from this level of insanity. Through the lens of a high-tech scope, the targets are marked. One shot, one soul, and Dr. Fang is never one to miss his mark. A giant hand reaches out to snatch Liu Qingzhu from the air, but her speed is on another level now. She's not the prey anymore, she's the apex predator. The bishop, Lin Chi, screams for his divine seed, realizing that his grand plan is being picked apart by a group of college students. Imagine being a high priest and getting outplayed this badly. The moon demons lunge forward with glowing eyes, their hunger for blood overriding any sense of self-preservation. It's a mindless, brutal Zerg rush. Liu Qingzhu dives into the fray, her wings leaving trails of purple fire as she carves a path through the demonic horde. She's finally embracing the true power of the Nether Phoenix. A high-energy spear of light dives from the heavens, pinning a demon to the earth with the force of a falling star. The scale of this fight is just unfair at this point. An energy blast clashes midair, a violent green streak meeting white-hot power. The shockwave is enough to shatter windows for miles. Liu Qingzhu is caught in the middle of a gravity-defying spin, blood spattering across the air as the sheer intensity of the battle takes its toll. One wrong move, and it's over. But she won't back down. With teeth gritted and wings beating against the storm, she pushes her body past the breaking point. This is what true martial evolution looks like. The bishop Lin Chi looks on in horror, his face contorted in a silent scream as his reality crumbles around him. The gods he worshipped are failing him, and his enemies are only getting stronger. Just as she's about to fall, Yi is there. A protective embrace, a sudden stop, he's got her, and the world seems to go quiet for a heartbeat. Catching a flying goddess mid-battle? Classic MC move. Liu Qingzhu looks up, eyes wide with shock and relief. She was ready for the end, But Yi had other plans. This moment of silence in the middle of a war zone is loud as hell. The dust settles to reveal a graveyard of giants. The moon demons that terrified the city are now just rotting heaps of flesh, victims of a power they couldn't even name. Is it finally over? The team regroups atop the massive remains, but Dr. Feng, Mad Doctor, warns that the danger hasn't passed. 6 hostiles are still unaccounted for, and the silence that follows is more terrifying than the battle itself. Liu Qingzu looks on, her purple eyes reflecting a truth that's almost too big to handle. The world as they knew it is gone, and the air is already starting to warp around Yi as his real transformation begins. Our boy's soul is transcending, his wings spreading wide against a backdrop of a literal lunar nightmare. This isn't just an awakening, it's a complete rewrite of his DNA. The mental domain is fracturing. Liu Qingzu is screaming in agony as the psychic pressure of a god tries to crush her soul, but our boy is holding her steady. Liu Qingzu dives through the chaos, her purple wings a blur of speed in this distorted reality. She's fighting just to stay conscious in this psychic hell. The moon's domain is spawning nightmarish entities with necks that stretch into infinity. If you didn't have a strong stomach, you'd be retching right now. Falling through a moonlit void, the scale of this spiritual battle is starting to reach cosmic proportions. There is nowhere to hide from the eye of the moon. Our boy's eyes have changed. They're no longer human. Those blue orbs are cold, calculating, and absolutely terrifying. He carries Liu Qingju like she's the most precious thing in a dying world. Even a monster like our boy has something he's willing to protect. Pure chaotic violence erupts as reality warps around them. The line between friend and foe is blurring in the moonlight. A giant blue foot stomps down like the wrath of a vengeful god. Whether it's Azure Dragon's power or the moon's malice, everything beneath it is being erased. The giant entity tears through the landscape, a blue titan of pure destruction. The cult didn't realize that summoning a god means becoming the first casualties. Look at that focus. Our boy is scanning the domain, his blue eyes cutting through the illusions like a surgeon's scalpel. He's looking for the source. Lin Chi Bishop is covered in filth and tears, his face a mask of pure horror. The man who wanted to lead a cult is now just a broken toy for the gods. Fragments of memory and pain are flying everywhere. Every time he enters this state, our boy has to endure a tearing pain that would kill a normal man. But he's not normal anymore. He is practically a demon god now. Even the divine can't punish him when he's the one holding all the cards. Talk about an unfair advantage. The surface of the moon is littered with craters from their battle. This isn't just a fight, it's a planetary scale disaster. Basmuth is searching for a vessel. He looks at our boy's weak mortal body and thinks he's found his new home. Big mistake. Huge. A skeletal blue titan towers over the field, a manifestation of pure terror. The scale of the enemies Yi is facing now is just ridiculous. A close-up on that blue eye shows zero fear, only hunger. Yi isn't being possessed, he's doing the possessing. Meet Basmuth, Moon Demon. He's beautiful, long-haired, and thinks he's the main character of this story. He's about to get a very rude awakening. Look at that arrogant face. Basmuth, Moon Demon, has no idea he's just stepped into a trap set by a human who literally x-rayed his own soul. Yi is smirking. You don't smile like that unless you've already won. He's literally laughing in the face of a god. Basmuth, Moon Demon, floats on a stairway to the moon, convinced of his divinity. He thinks he's transcending, but he's just being led to the slaughterhouse. More craters, more destruction. The moon is taking a beating today. This battle is leaving scars on the very fabric of reality. Yi's aura is exploding outward as he flips the script on this divine intruder. He's not just using the system, he's turning it into a cage for a god now. That's what I call a power move. Basmuth, Moon Demon, stares down the psychic monstrosity before him, slowly realizing his intended vessel isn't just occupied, it's defended by something far more dangerous. He thinks he's in control, but he's about to find out just how wrong he is. Basmuth, Moon Demon, is still wearing that smug look, convinced he's found the perfect vessel. Arrogance really is the quickest way to a bad ending in these stories. He's offering Yi a seat at the divine table. Climb the moon with me, he says. It's a tempting offer, if you don't mind losing your soul. Suddenly, the mental landscape shifts as a massive blue hand reaches through the void. This isn't part of the god's plan. A giant mouth opens in the darkness, ready to swallow reality whole. Basmuth, Moon Demon, is losing his grip on the domain faster than he can scream. Vines of dark energy erupt, tearing through the spiritual plane. The hunter has officially become the prey. Basmuth, Moon Demon, reaches out, his confidence finally wavering. He can feel something else inside Yihi, something he can't control. One touch is all it takes for the connection to backfire. Yihi isn't being possessed. He's a black hole for divinity. That shark-like smirk says it all. Yihi has been waiting for this exact moment to turn the tables on this god. And here's the absolute madness of Yihi's plan. A split body. He literally had his body x-rayed and divided to ensure his consciousness always had a backup. Talk about hardcore. Basmuth Moon Demon is frozen in shock. He's a god who's lived for eons, and he's just been outplayed by a college student. It's embarrassing, honestly. A golden blade of pure energy drops from the sky, a signal that the real cleanup crew has arrived. The sword pierces the domain, shattering the lunar illusion like glass. The scale of this power is on a completely different level. In the center of the storm, a titan of blue light emerges. This is the manifestation of a national grandmaster. Prepare yourselves. Introducing the protector of the kingdom, Azure Dragon, Ishu. He doesn't just enter a room. He redefines the atmosphere with overwhelming authority. Even Yihi can't help but be impressed. The power gap between a student and a legend is wider than a canyon. Azure Dragon, Yishu, looks down, his blue hair flowing like a solar flare. This is the peak of human martial evolution. Basmuth, Moon Demon, tries one last time to exert his will, but he's facing a national grandmaster. It's a toddler fighting a tsunami. The domain crumbles into stardust as Azure Dragon, Yishu, clears the field with a single, devastating move. One district erased. Problem solved. Azure Dragon, Yishu, stares into the void, his work done. He's the reason people sleep peacefully at night, even if they don't know he exists. One final scream from the Moon Demon as his imperfect vessel is vaporized. He'll be back, but today belongs to the humans. A cosmic clash between the Azure Dragon's spirit and the dark forces of the moon. This is the kind of stuff that legends are made of. The night sky returns to normal, but the forest beneath bears the scars of a war that shouldn't have been possible. Nature always pays the price. Yihi is back in the real world, catching his breath as the system stabilizes his soul. He's alive, but he's not the same person who started this mission. Yihi kneels in the ruins of the district, gasping for air as the dust of a leveled city settles around him. He just stared down a god and lived, but the real harvest is currently burning a hole in his soul. The system interface glitches violently, struggling to categorize the raw divinity he ripped away from Basmuth. As the data finally starts to stabilize, Yihi realizes he didn't just survive, he hit the cosmic jackpot. 5 points of divinity! Most hunters would kill for just one, but our boy just swiped them right out from under a god's nose. Time to go shopping! Our boy is analyzing the origin of these forces. He's starting to realize that stealing power from a god like Basmuth isn't just a win, it's a game changer. He decides to double down on his current strength. No need to fix what isn't broken, especially when you're about to become the king of monsters. Click to allocate. One tap and the system is flooded with divine energy, rewriting our boy's entire existence in real time. This is peak efficiency. Behold the evolution. The Rakud template is officially transcending into the Moon Demon. We're talking 100% stat boosts under the moonlight, and the legendary ability to stop time itself. Out of the light emerges a new predator. This red armored demon form isn't just for show, it's the physical manifestation of our boy's divine evolution. Everyone else just became food. Back in the physical world, Yihi is gasping for air. His body is literally screaming as it tries to process the sudden influx of god-tier power. Welcome back to reality, kid. The aftermath is messy. Lu Qingju and the others are being stabilized in medical pods, their bodies pushed to the limit by the divine shockwaves. It's a miracle they're still in one piece. Standing alone under the moon, Yihi realizes the world he knew is gone. He's stepping into a realm where humans and monsters are no longer distinct. He's testing the weight of his new soul, feeling the power of the Moon Demon coursing through his veins. This is what it feels like to be truly free of mortal limits. One punch is enough to shatter the atmosphere. His speed and strength have reached a level that shouldn't even exist in this dimension. It's absolutely unfair. He's a blur of motion, a streak of light in the night sky. If this is just the beginning of his evolution, I'd hate to be the guy who has to fight him later. Yihi is cooling down, stretching his muscles as they knit back together with divine speed. He's a well-oiled machine of destruction now. His silhouette against the moon is a dark omen for the cult of Basmuth. The Moon Demon has a new king, and he doesn't play well with others. Cut to the futuristic skyline of Hua University. Back in the safety of the academy, the group is finally able to breathe, but the atmosphere is far from relaxed. Yihi walks through the halls, his presence alone silencing the chatter. People can tell something about him has changed. He's radiating a pressure that's impossible to ignore. He's summoned to meet the big boss. A firm handshake with the man who runs everything Shi Jingwen. This is where the real politics begin. Shi Jingwen is a shrewd one. He looks at Yihi and sees a weapon of mass destruction that happens to be enrolled in his university. He's both impressed and terrified. Look at that grin. Shi Jingwen is practically glowing as he offers Yihi a tier 5 reward. He knows he just hit the jackpot with this student. Yihi is just taking it all in. He's getting praised, but he's thinking about the power he felt out there. Recognition is nice, but it isn't divinity. Relaxing in the office, Yihi checks his phone. It's time to see the damage they left behind. Spoiler alert, it's not pretty. The news is everywhere. Linchui County is gone, replaced by a bottomless crater. Azure Dragon, he didn't just end the fight, he deleted the entire battlefield. Yihi is sweating. He realizes that as strong as he's become, there are still titans in this world who can erase a county with a single strike. The pressure is on. Shi Jingwen watches him carefully, his eyes glinting behind those glasses. He's promising to keep Yihi's unusual power a secret for a price. Nothing is ever free. A mysterious visitor enters the room. Is this another ally or a new threat? Stick around to find out, because the stakes just got cosmic. Yihi's got that look again, half smirk, half predator. He's already thinking 3 steps ahead. And honestly, it's terrifying to watch. Behold the legend himself, Azure Dragon, Yi Shu, the protector of the kingdom. He looks exhausted, but that aura is still heavy enough to crush a normal man's soul. If you're not hooked by now, I don't know what to tell you. The real war is just getting started. Yihi stands before the legendary Azure Dragon, a man whose presence alone feels like an immovable mountain. This isn't just a meeting, it's a test of survival. Azure Dragon stares him down, searching for even a flicker of fear in the young man's eyes. Most people would have crumbled by now, but Yihi isn't most people. The kid actually has the audacity to smirk. He's already calculating, his mind working faster than a system prompt to find a way to win this bet. Fed up with the games, the old legend sheds his coat, revealing a physique forged in the fires of 1,000 battles. Now, things are getting serious. His gaze turns predatory. He's about to show our boy the true gap between a student and a national level expert. But our boy flips the script, letting the demonic aura of the moon demon flare up behind him, like a literal nightmare coming to life. Azure Dragon watches the blood mist swirl, unimpressed. He's seen every trick in the book, or so he thinks. The air shatters as their intents collide, a glimpse into an abyss that would drive any normal person insane. They talk of a world beyond the veil of A-rank ruins and monsters that might have once been as human as they are. Our boy plays it cool, acting like he's bored, even though the sheer pressure in the room is enough to flatten a skyscraper. Azure Dragon unleashes his true form, his skin pulsing with a forbidden body cultivation technique that defies all logic. One move, one strike. The impact is so violent it ripples through the very fabric of reality. The price of standing his ground is heavy. Yihi's eyes begin to bleed as he struggles to stay conscious under the crushing weight. Intrigued by the boy's sheer stubbornness, Azure Dragon pauses, truly seeing the potential hidden beneath the arrogance. He reaches out, placing a single finger on Yihi's forehead. It's a moment of absolute vulnerability and absolute power. A blinding flare erupts as a secret technique is seared directly into Yihi's consciousness. It's a gift that feels like a curse. Yihi screams as his system goes into overdrive, the moon demon template reacting to this new, violent influx of power. The message is clear. The Master of Moon and Nightmares has met his match in the legends of the old world. This isn't just a power-up. It's a warning of the horrors waiting in the dreams of the fallen. Meeting adjourned. Azure Dragon casually throws his coat back on, leaving Yihi trembling in the aftermath. Before leaving, he drops a bombshell. Watch out for Gong Kei. Don't let the bells and the small stature fool you. She's a rose of slaughter, who will eat you alive. Yihi watches the legend walk away, finally understanding that he's just entered a much bigger, much deadlier game. Azure Dragon gives one last cryptic look, satisfied that he's just set a fire that might burn the whole world down. Yihi just grins. If this world is ruled by monsters, he'll just have to become the one that every predator fears. But as the cold night wind sweeps across the rooftop, the weight of the old man's warning sinks, and the real nightmare has only just begun. The moonlit rooftop is the perfect stage for legends, and Azure Dragon is making sure Yi feels every ounce of the pressure. This isn't just a talk. It's a passing of the torch in the most violent way possible. Azure Dragon looks down at the boy with a mix of respect and challenge. He wants to see if Yi is just a lucky brat or a monster in the making. Yi gives that signature cocky smile. He's already won the bet in his head, and now he's just waiting for the old man to realize it. Then, the air shatters. Yi unleashes a violent explosion of intent, his energy surging like a tidal wave against the night sky. He strikes with everything he has, his movements a blur of lethal precision as he tries to find a single opening in the legend's defense. Azure Dragon barely blinks, meeting the young monster's fury with a fist that carries the raw weight of a nation. This is what peak performance looks like. The impact is so intense it leaves everyone else stunned, the sheer force of their clashing wills literalizing in the air. And then there's Gonkei. Don't let the bells or the small stature fool you. Those eyes carry the weight of a century and the scent of slaughter. While some train, others indulge. Jokai is living the high life, completely unaware that his internal purge of the club is about to hit a massive, demonic wall. He thinks he's the apex predator of the university, but his arrogance is blinding him to the monster currently evolving just a few floors above him. Back on the roof, Azure Dragon isn't finished. He throws another strike, forcing Yi to adapt on the fly or get crushed under the sheer gravity of his power. The force carves through the rooftop like a hot knife through butter, a physical reminder of the mountain our boy still has to climb. Our boy stands his ground, his weapon trembling but his spirit refusing to give an inch. He's absorbing the lesson, with every bruise. Azure Dragon flares his aura, a blue storm that completely drowns out the moonlight and turns the entire arena into his personal domain. The pressure is suffocating. This is raw, unadulterated strength, no system assistance, just decades of martial perfection. A blinding flash of energy settles the score. The old man has made his point, and Yi has survived it barely. Meeting adjourned. Azure Dragon carries the exhausted Yi like a trophy, acknowledging that this kid might just be the savior the country needs. The legend actually has a soft side, squeezing Yi's cheeks like a proud, slightly unhinged grandfather who just found his favorite new toy. He leaves the boy with one last piece of wisdom. Power is useless if you don't have a guide to show you the right path. Yi takes it in stride, already recovering and probably thinking about how to exploit the old man's soft spot for his next power-up. The prize for winning the bet? A national treasure level manual from the West, a physical cultivation technique that turns flesh into iron. The kid's eyes light up. S-tier loot is the best way to end a night, even if he did almost get flattened for it. Back at dorm room 42F-A3, the silence of the night finally returns as Yi prepares to rest after 6 long months of training. Yi heads back to dorm 42F. A3 to wash away the night's bruises, but his monster instincts tell him the peace is already over. He's definitely not alone. A knock later, and he's greeted by a truly desperate visitor. Ouyangze has arrived, looking like he's crawled out of a disaster zone, just to beg the school's newest monster for a miracle. Enter Ouyangze, the pink-haired mess who clearly didn't get the memo about boundaries. He looks like he's about to have a mental breakdown, and honestly, in this university, who isn't? Yi just got out of the shower, and he's already being bothered by club politics. The towel is the only thing holding this situation together, while he looks at his uninvited guest with pure exhaustion. And here come the waterworks. Ouyangze falls to his knees, begging for a miracle from the one guy in the school who considers mercy a character flaw. He's literally hanging onto Yi's towel. If the Dragon Blood Club wasn't already dying, this level of pathetic definitely finished the job. Our boy isn't moved in the slightest. He looks down at this display of weakness with eyes that have seen true monsters and don't care about human tears. He literally drags the guy out of his space. He's got no time for losers who cry instead of fighting back against the student union's oppression. But Ouyangze is persistent. He grovels like his life depends on it, and considering what's happening at the club, it probably does. The guy is a total wreck, snot and tears everywhere. This is the desperate face of someone who's lost every other option and is gambling everything on a monster. The cause of all this misery? A red banner signifying the internal purge of the club. The organization is being torn apart from the inside out. Ouyangze knows he's reached the end of the line. If he can't convince Yi to step in, the Dragon Blood Club will be nothing more than a footnote in history. Meanwhile, Jokai is lounging in the shadows like he already owns the place. He's got the look of a villain who's already written the ending to this story. Yi just stares back, unimpressed by the high-stakes drama. He's busy calculating exactly how much trouble this mess is actually worth. Ouyang-zae screams his lungs out, probably explaining the Daxia recovery plan and why Yi-hee is the only one who can lead them through the fire. Yi-hee closes his eyes for a second, probably dreaming about a world where people stop breaking into his dorm to cry. Suddenly, the atmosphere changes. Ouyang-zae is fired up, but he still looks like he's one bad day away from a total mental collapse. Yi-hee's gaze sharpens. The Predator is finally starting to see something worth hunting in this absolute disaster of a club. The pink-haired guy realizes he might actually have a chance. He's desperate enough to do anything, including becoming Yi-hee's personal servant, just for a sliver of hope. The stakes are massive. A global map dotted with red nodes, this isn't just a school rivalry. It's a worldwide war for survival against the monster infestation. To prove his worth, Ouyang-zae is literally on a ladder fixing the ceiling in the dorm. Talk about a bizarre way to apply for a leadership position. Yi-hee watches him with a predatory grin that would make a demon sweat. He's finally decided to take the throne, and things are about to get very, very bloody. Back at the Dragon Blood Club headquarters, the air is thick enough to choke on. The internal betrayal is entering its final stage. Shin-chen is just chilling with a cigarette, watching the chaos with bored eyes. He's the kind of guy who'd watch his friends drown just to see how high the water gets. Yan Zhengsheng stands among the crowd, a lion trapped in a den of snakes. He's loyal, but he's surrounded by people who have already sold their souls to the highest bidder. The traders gather around the table, ready to hand the club over to Joe Kai on a silver platter. They think they've already won, but they're really just setting the stage for their own destruction. But a shadow is looming over them all, heavier than any lie they've told. They haven't realized it yet, but the real monster just decided to claim the crown, and as the moon of carnage rises, the first of them is about to snap. Xin-chen slams the table, trying to sell his betrayal as a strategic move. He thinks he's saving the club, but he's really just selling his friends out to the highest bidder. Yan Zhengsheng looks on with pure disgust. For him, loyalty isn't a choice. It's the only way a martial artist should live. Xin-chen gives that sleazy, confident grin, convinced that family status and wealth are the only true powers in this university. The club is completely divided. Half the members are ready to jump ship for a better future, while the others are just praying to survive the night. Joe Kai makes his grand entrance, literally kicking things off to assert his dominance. He's here to take over, and he doesn't care who he has to step on to do it. Yan Zhengsheng isn't backing down. He charges in with a fistful of fury, ready to put this arrogant brat in his place once and for all. But Joe Kai isn't just talk. He catches the strike with ease, mocking the former leadership for being weak and out of date. The girl watches with a cold, detached gaze. To the Zhou family, these loyalists are just obstacles that need to be removed. Yan Zhengsheng can't believe the gap in power. This isn't just some rich kid. Joe Kai has real, dangerous cultivation behind that arrogant attitude. Joe Kai relishes the fear he's spreading, screaming in their faces as he prepares to clean house in the most violent way possible. A terrified silence falls over the remaining members as they realize the student union isn't here to negotiate, they're here to conquer. Joe Kai goes full monster mode, his intent manifesting as a literal roar that shakes the very foundations of the Dragon Blood Club headquarters. The sheer weight of his bloodlust is enough to paralyze the weaker members. He thinks he's the apex predator here, completely unaware of what's standing right behind him. Enter the real monster. Yi-hee arrives and grabs Joe Kai by the hair before the brat can even finish his sentence. Trash disposal is officially in session. With a casual toss, our boy sends the arrogant fool flying straight through the window. Now that the trash is outside, it's time to set things right. He just digs his ear, completely bored by the entire encounter. He's the president now, and the Dragon Blood Club is officially under new, much deadlier management. Our glorious alpha male MC casually flips a small card, but this isn't just any card. It's the ultimate trump card that's about to flip the entire power dynamic of the university. The members of the Dragon Blood Club look on, completely lost. They have no idea what their new leader is cooking, but they can feel the tension rising. One look at the card and their jaws hit the floor. This isn't just a membership, it's a death warrant for anyone standing in their way. Yi-hee lays it out plain and simple. Waiting a month for recovery is for losers. He's got a direct solution that's going to put them right in the spotlight. Then comes that grin, the one that says he's about to do something absolutely insane. Yi-hee isn't here to play by the rules. He's here to break them. Ouyang-zae and the others can only stare in disbelief. They knew he was strong, but this is on a whole different level of crazy. The term martial master flashes before them. Yi-hee is targeting the elite, and he's doing it with zero hesitation. He knows exactly what he's doing. To revive the club, he doesn't need a miracle. He needs a massacre that the whole world can watch. Behold the symbol of the Longquay First Division. This isn't just status. It's a declaration of war from the nation's strongest martial unit. Yi points to the sky, practically radiating confidence. He's officially declaring himself the ace of the First Division, and he's ready to prove it. The club members can barely process the news. Their leader isn't just a talented freshman, he's a literal living legend in the making. One of the muscular members tries to wrap his head around the sheer scale of the challenge. Challenging everyone under Grand Marshal Master? It's suicide or a masterpiece. The room goes into a comedic shock. The gap between our glorious alpha male MC's casual attitude and his world-shaking announcement is just too much to handle. Yi stays cool, calculating the moves ahead. Every martial artist in the university is about to become a stepping stone for his club's comeback. In the shadows, the true weight of his ace status looms. This is the power of a man who has awakened the king of monsters. Outside, the city pulses with life, completely unaware that the internet is about to explode with the biggest news of the year. The notification hits every phone in the vicinity. A freshman challenging the entire school? The traffic is going off the charts. Even the injured students in the infirmary can't look away. This is the event everyone's been waiting for, and nobody wants to miss the carnage. Ouyang-zae is losing his mind with excitement. This is the ultimate marketing stunt, the kind of hype you just can't buy. The camera pans to a hospital name tag, Zhou Kai. The man who tried to crush the Dragon Blood Club is about to watch them rise from the ashes. Wrapped in bandages, Zhou Kai stares at the screen, his world crumbling as he realizes the trash he looked down on is now the school's biggest star. His face twists in a mix of pure rage and sheer terror. He finally understands Yahi isn't just a rival, he's a force of nature. The arena erupts! Thousands of students are screaming, their fists in the air, fueled by the sheer audacity of the challenge. The sky above the stadium is buzzing with helicopters, as millions tune in globally. Every camera is locked, the world is watching, and the hype is about to reach the point of no return. The side door slides open, and Yi stands at the edge of the abyss, staring down at his new playground. Get ready, because the ace is about to show them exactly why he's in a league of his own. Check out this entrance! Yi isn't just dropping in, he's raining down like a localized apocalypse, eyes glowing with a power that screams, "Game over." The impact isn't just physical, it's a statement. The King of Monsters has landed, and the entire stadium is vibrating with the sheer weight of his presence. Standing under a moon so massive it looks like it's judging the entire school, Yi claims his throne in the center of the arena. This isn't a fight, it's a hostile takeover. Enter the first volunteer for the infirmary. He's got that smug, I'm the protagonist of my own story look, but he has no idea he's just a warm-up act. Look at that smirk. This guy really thinks he's about to teach the new kid a lesson. Spoiler alert, he's not. Long Tao, a second Dan Martial Master, steps up with all the confidence of a man who hasn't seen a real monster yet. He's practically begging for a beatdown. The crowd is absolutely losing it. They're thirsty for some high-level action, and they're about to get exactly what they paid for. Yi doesn't waste time with words or fancy stances. A single, blindingly fast kick connects, and the laws of physics take a sudden, violent vacation. And boom! Long Tao's smug face is replaced by a fountain of blood as he's driven into the floor like a human tent peg. Next, before the dust can even settle, Yaoling from the second year drops from the sky, spear first and ready to pierce through the hype. She's fast, sure, but Yi is playing on a different difficulty level. He parries the strike with such casual ease, it's almost insulting to her entire martial career. Check out that face. He's bored. Yahi is literally bored while people are actively trying to take his head off. Talk about a power gap. The other students realize one-on-one is just suicide with extra steps, so they swarm him like hungry wolves. Strength in numbers, right? Wrong. Yi just sighs and unleashes a shockwave of energy that turns the entire mob into a collection of groaning bodies and shattered egos. It's a complete wipeout. The energy burst clears the arena in a single heartbeat, leaving nothing but a pile of regrets where the school's elite used to be. Back in the hospital, Zhou Kai is sweating bullets. Seeing the man he tried to bully turn into this literal nightmare is doing more damage than the actual beating he took. Our glorious alpha male MC stands alone in the wreckage, glowing like a beacon of absolute dominance. He's got one question for the entire stadium. Who else? The survivors can only grovel or crawl away. They wanted to test his strength, but they ended up attending a funeral for their own pride. But then, the atmosphere shifts. Zhou Yanting, a 9th Dan powerhouse who's been in seclusion, finally steps out. Now we're talking real business. The crowd goes dead silent. Even the most delusional haters know that a real monster has just entered the chat to defend the Zhou family honor. Surprisingly, Zhou Yanting starts with a respectful martial greeting. He's a professional, even when he's about to turn the arena into a furnace. He closes his eyes, focusing his solar-based power. You can practically feel the oxygen being sucked out of the room as the heat begins to rise. Yihi just gives him a casual shrug. He's seen it all before, and he's more than ready to send this veteran back into retirement. From above, the arena is a chessboard where Yihi has already called checkmate. The whole world is watching, and they're about to get exactly what they paid for. No more talk, no more waiting. The collision finally happens, a high-stakes explosion of raw power between two absolute peaks that's about to redefine the word disaster. The clash is finally here. Yihi and Zhou Yanting collide with enough force to rewrite the stadium's layout. This isn't a sparring match, it's a disaster in progress. Energy is bleeding out everywhere. The sheer pressure between these two is so intense that the air itself is screaming. No one in the crowd can even breathe right now. Look at that, Yihi's monster template is reacting. Those scales aren't just for show. They're the difference between survival and becoming a pile of ash. Yihi's eyes say it all. He finally found someone who can actually take a hit. And you can practically see the Monster King inside him waking up for real. Zhou Yanting isn't playing around either. His sun-blazed blood is hitting a boiling point, and he's starting to look less like a man and more like a human volcano. The crowd is absolutely terrified. They came for a show, but they're starting to realize that being front row at a dragon slaying might be bad for their health. Boom! The arena floor just gave up on existing. That explosion isn't just fire and light, it's the sound of two absolute legends refusing to back down. Zhou Yanting is steaming, literally. He's pushing his internal heat so high he's probably melting his own nano armor just to land a punch. And there's that grin. Yihi is absolutely loving this. When the monster armor comes out, you know the real fun is just beginning. Zhou Yanting drops from the sky like a flaming comet, but Yihi is standing his ground. It's a battle of raw power versus an unstoppable force. Even the kids in the stadium are losing their minds. This is the kind of fight that turns normal people into lifelong martial arts fanatics if they survive the heat wave. Zhou Yanting is reaching his limit. Half his face is glowing like molten lead, the price of using the forbidden sunblaze techniques. He's going for broke. He's standing in the middle of a crater, looking like a literal fire demon. Zhou Yanting is giving it everything he's got to protect his family's pride. But Yihi has an answer for everything. He manifests a massive draconic energy fist the heaven-bombing dragon cannon is about to fire, and it looks hungry. The impact is blinding. A direct hit that probably registered on every earthquake sensor in the city. Talk about a heavyweight clash. You can practically feel the bones rattling. The pressure is so high, it's like the air is trying to crush their very skeletons. This is some high-tier violence right here. Zhou Yanting realizes he can't win in a contest of pure strength, so he pivots to speed. He's moving so fast, he's leaving a trail of fire in his wake. But speed doesn't matter when your opponent can cover the entire arena. Yihi's dragon construct opens its mouth, and you just know things are about to get really loud. Zhou Yanting is flaring his heat to the absolute max. A final, desperate attempt to incinerate everything in his path. It's the ultimate firestorm. The flaming hand reaches out. This is the Blazing Sun Demon Hand. It's a technique meant to end fights, and it's heading straight for Yihi's heart. The hype is real. Every single person in that stadium is on their feet, screaming for more as the two combatants reach their absolute breaking point. It's like a second sun just appeared in the stadium. Zhou Yanting has compressed his fire into a massive orb of pure destruction. This is it, the final move. Against the backdrop of a dying star, Zhou Yanting stands as a silhouette of pure martial will. He's putting his entire life into this one strike. Our glorious alpha male MC's eyes ignite with a terrifying, primal light. He's done playing nice. The predator is finally surfacing, and he's ready to show the world who really owns this sky. It's a clash of legends. The dragon versus the sun. As our glorious alpha male MC's monster form grips that burning orb, he's one heartbeat away from unleashing a nightmare that'll leave the stadium in ruins. Yihi's predator side is fully out now. When those monster teeth show up, you know someone is about to have a very, very bad day. And there it is, the heaven-bombing dragon cannon. A pillar of blue energy so massive, it makes Zhou Yanting's solar orb look like a cheap campfire. The two powers collide, And for a second, it feels like the universe itself is about to crack. This isn't just an explosion, it's a total reset of the food chain. Zhou Yanting's sun-blazed blood couldn't handle the pressure. He gave it his all, but you can't fight a monster with just a little heat. The beam pierces straight through the night, reaching past the moon itself. Yihi didn't just win a fight. He sent a message to everyone watching. Fight's over. Yihi stands there looking like he just finished a light jog, casually flexing while the stadium still smokes. The disrespect is legendary. Enter Principal Shi Jingwen. He floats down like a god among men, holding the unconscious Zhou Yanting. He intervened at the last second, otherwise there wouldn't be an arena left. Principal Shi Jingwen doesn't look angry. He looks like he just found a new favorite student. He knows exactly how much Yihi is worth now. Check out that crater! The entire center of the stadium is gone. If this is what a freshman can do, everyone else might as well just drop out now. Principal Shi Jingwen unleashes a calming field to stabilize the chaos. He's the peak of the school, but even he has to acknowledge the monster in front of him. The crowd is absolutely traumatized. They're literally shaking, realizing they just witnessed a freshman use an atomic breath in the middle of a school tournament. Principal Shi Jingwen officially calls the match. With his public support, Yihi's status is officially untouchable. Hua University has a new king. Victory! Yihi raises his fist to the sky. The Dragon Blood Club is back, and with this win, the investment money is going to start raining down. Our boy really is the strongest and most legendary Sigma this school has ever seen.